The opinions you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
Today's digital landscape with the spread of false information can lead to dangerous outcomes. It's crucial for everyone to think critically and verify sources and reflect on the impact of what they share. Let's promote responsible communication to ensure that truth prevails and actions remain rooted in reality.
The following program is rated TV MA LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Friday Night Shit Show. And I haven't heard from Ruben, so he's not here yet. But thank you for joining me, Bruce. How are you tonight?
I worked a lot.
Yeah, so you tired?
Yeah.
Worn out? Well,
I had a nap, but I could definitely use more nappy time. Not gonna lie.
Good. Maybe you can leave anytime you need to leave if you start getting tired.
If I get tired, I will. Had a good week though, because like this week we got to see a lot of violence on lefties. That makes me really happy. Like just seeing them get their shit pushed in. Yeah. It's so different than the fucking the auto pen years we had. Mm-hmm. And I can't wait to see how we write 2020 to 2024 in history, where it was the dark times, you know. And I want to know, you know, are we going to put the communists in the wood chipper like we need to? Because that's what needs to happen. Like the fucks that ruined America. Mm-hmm. There's no civility available for them. I want them gone. I want them to be chum. That's it. You know, but you're going to be past the third sandbar. You can know about the sharks.
Yeah. Well, you know, to each his own. We all want something to happen to clean up some of this chaos. But, you know, hopefully we'll get a little of everything.
I don't know, Che Guevara. What do you want, Ivana? Present, past? What? Give me an era. Fucking.
Well, all I know is he says present.
AOC be one. Bernie fucking Sanders be second.
What about the governor of California?
You got Gruesome Newsom over there. We've got J.D. Pritzker, who is trying to organize against Trump out of the governor's office in Illinois.
Yeah, so, Hillary Clinton. She's a communist.
I mean, they all belong in wood chippers.
Mm-hmm. Well, never know. Never know what can happen in the future, right?
I'm praying for either wood chippers or a fucking meteorite.
Well, the meteorite I'd rather not have, because then I'm in danger and so is my family. So.
Listen, we're all in danger, but if it happens, it's no longer my problem.
Well, yeah, I mean, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I mean, that's what God has planned, then more than likely he's going to have what he wants, because God gets pretty much do whatever he wants, right? But the thing is that we just have to be patient and do the best we can with what we have available to us. And the thing is, we can fight back without killing someone. You know what I mean? We can.
I would rather have him gone now. I know that sound. You look at it like a fucking, oh, we need to live together and no, fuck that. I'm done. The last fucking 5 years have given me plenty of fuck this. I'm done. No more friendliness. No more like, oh, we get along. Fuck that. They fucking try to mask us up, get rid of our businesses, get rid of our way of life. I'm done.
Well, I agree with you. So
I mean, earlier today I had some joy. Like we had that sales meeting where the lady was getting kind of cunty about things, and let her know, like, hey, listen, here's the price of things, here's your price of the competition we've got, here's what you've had before, and for you to get fixed, we need about this much money to start. Mm-hmm. That really set the tone for the day.
Yeah.
After I'd worked 8 hours.
Well, yeah, it sucks. I cleaned carpet. One strip I'm trying to clean the whole living room carpet, but I can only do a small area at a time because I want it to dry, and I like to keep towels over it and then vacuum it and that kind of stuff. So, and it takes time to do that, but it hasn't been done in years. So I'm trying to get it, back up to par. But I'm going to play this one video that you asked me to first. The one about the, I can't remember the name of the people, the unmasking thing. I'm going to play that first. And then, I'll go ahead and do that first. I'm going to bring that up. So can you see it or see what I've got open here? Okay.
Okay. This right here is a fairly long video. I probably won't speak a whole lot during this, but there's a lot of important context here, trying to get it out to even more and more and more people.
Let me get I'm going to get the link real quick too, so I can also share it.
Put that in the chat because. Okay.
And we're going to break it up though.
The next half hour, I want to discuss this. If you don't want to hear anything about like armed faggots in Salt Lake City that are trying to be communist pieces of shit and ruin America, and they're part of the individuals responsible directly for Charlie Kirk's death. You don't want to hear about that. If you're tired of it, it's been 3 weeks, you want to go on something new, go hang out somewhere else for a half hour. We're going to be talking about this.
Well, we're going to pause it every so often. And, whenever something comes up that we want to talk about or discuss, I think we should. And let the chat be able to say something about it, things like that. Because I think it's important, to ask questions, try to get the answers or whatever if we can. But I'm going to share the link so anybody can come back, watch this, or share it with someone else if you think it's important. Because the only way you're going to get facts is by you getting them yourself. Because you can't trust the media. The media is going to lie to us. Okay, they're owned. The only people you're going to get the truth from are other people like us that want the truth. Okay. And we're doing the best we can to share it because I'm not paid. I don't get paid to do this. I do this all on my own time because I think it's important, and I'm not always right. But the thing is, I'm trying to get the facts. I'm trying to get the truth, just like most people in America want the truth. They want the facts. We want to be able to live our lives in safety and not worry about going to the grocery store or taking our kids somewhere and getting attacked by someone simply because I'm a conservative, or because I'm a Christian, or because of some other reason that they don't like me, because I'm a Nazi, I'm a fascist, whatever it is they're going to call me, simply because I voted for Trump. Okay. It can be that simple. And these people hate me. And I don't even know them. And if I just saw them on the side of the road, I'd probably try to help them. That's the sad truth, is that they want to kill me, and I've tried to help them. You know, my whole life, that's the kind of person I've been. But okay, I'm going to push play. Here we go.
So yesterday, Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, I should say, said that in the Discord group chat that Tyler Robinson was a part of, it was in this Discord group chat that Tyler Robinson admitted that he had killed Charlie Kirk. Kash Patel said that there were more than 20 people in that Discord chat. Therefore, more than 20 people, upwards of 30 people, knew about Charlie Kirk's murder and who committed this murder, potentially before law enforcement did. This is Director Patel. Take a look.
The FBI investigating the Kirk assassination as part of this broader pattern of anti-religious, anti-Christian violence.
We are investigating Charlie's assassination fully and completely, and running out every lead related to any allegation of broader violence. And we're producing results on that we'll disclose when appropriate.
Good.
Hold on.
I'm glad to hear that. Let me just ask you some questions about that, if I could.
Okay. If this is true, this provides a good reason as to why we might not have seen an actual obscene list yet, because they did have a lot of patronage to Charlie Kirk, and finding out what exactly was going on with this little subgroup, the subculture out of Utah, is kind of important. I think that's what happened.
Okay, well, one thing I've been saying all along, since all the people crawling out of the woodwork asking for information about the whole Epstein shit, when I've said over and over again, get the judge who sealed the documents to the case and the trial that put Ghislaine Maxwell behind bars, and you have everything you need. Everything's in there. If it put her in prison, that's all you need. It's a start. It's got all the stuff. Just hound that guy. Let that judge give you what you want, and leave these people alone and let them do their fucking jobs that they're trying to do. If you've paid attention to the news, you've seen that they've got a shit ton of stuff on their plate. And so if you want that shit, hound that judge that put that stuff under seal. That's who you need to hound. Get him to unseal it. It's that simple. That's all you got to do. If you want the shit, hound that guy. So can I start now?
Go ahead.
Okay, here we go.
Reports have suggested that the FBI is investigating a broader network of groups that may have had some knowledge of the shooter's plans. Can you give us any details on that, following up what you already said in public? How's the FBI working to find other potential accomplices, folks who may have known about the shooter's plans, folks who may have encouraged him? Any update on any of that?
So in terms of what we do for an interrogation perspective, we go and reach out to the family and community immediately. And we've conducted those investigations and interrogations with local law enforcement. And we're continuing to do that because those closest to the suspect are going to hopefully know the most about the suspect and his beliefs and his ideology. On top of that, unfortunately, it has been leaked that there was a Discord chat. And for those unfamiliar with it, it's a gaming chat room online that the suspect participated in. So what we've already done is serve legal process, not just on Discord, so that the information we gathered is sustained and held in a evidentiary posture that we could use in prosecution should it be decided to do so. And we're also going to be investigating anyone and everyone involved in that Discord chat.
Okay, very good. I see the public reports that the Discord thread had as many as 20 additional users. It sounds like you're trying to run down all of that to see if that's accurate, who else may have been on that thread, what they may have known. Is that fair to say?
It's a lot more than that. We're running them all down.
It's a lot more than 20?
Yes, sir.
And you're running all of that to ground,
every single one.
Yeah,
all right. That's a
fantastic.
big fucking conspiracy.
Let me just
right
turn
there.
to the broader question here of anti-religious, anti-Christian.
You what?
That's a big fucking conspiracy right there. You have 20 people without any sort of like TS access or certification. It's a lot of loose lips. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And more importantly, once you start getting into the weeds of exactly who these people are, you start seeing that their affiliations that they have are excessively harmful to a safe society that we all expect to have for our kids and grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
This is the sort of thing. This is the sort of thing that you would find in a Ludlum novel. For those of you that don't understand what I just said there, it's a book that you would get at the store. And it's kind of big and hefty, and it's about typically one or two people discovering a conspiracy within government or within an NGO, and they have to race against the clock in order to save the country.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, one thing I want to add to that is I have a Discord server. Okay. It has over 200 people in it. And I try to get on there every day and go through the different rooms and see anything new because it highlights, right?
I really don't like Discord anymore.
Well, I do. I love Discord. I have had it since 2016. I've had no problems because I have good people in there, and we all talk to each other. So whenever there's somebody in there that's asking for money or posting stuff they shouldn't be posting, I'm told right away. Okay. So I'm able to delete it and kick them out. Okay. So I'm trying to keep an idea of what's going on in my server, right? Which any person who sets up a server, and guess what? I go to like 30 or 40 different ones, different times for different things to post things, whether it's gaming or whether it's cosplay or comic books, whatever it is, right? And I've been to 4 or 5 of them that I've never seen the person who says they started it do anything on it at all. And that there's only me and maybe 3 other people even posting in it. So there's a lot of Discord servers out there that nobody's on. And just like what happened to you, I'm sure there's many out there that got scammed, or not scammed, but what do you call it when they steal it from you?
They fished.
Well, they stole it from you. They didn't fish you. They just
I might have clicked the link or might have had something happen, but I lost my first Discord server.
Well, so somebody
we know who it was, and the thing is that Discord is absolutely not interested in anything I have to say because I'm not a paying member. And we know who it is. We got their account number. They don't give a shit.
But the thing is,
then when they rolled out their TOS in the last month, and I had to change my fucking name from Dead Communists Are Best to, what is it now? Pinochet's Skydiving School.
yeah.
I had to change it because it was against TOS. Because apparently you can't make fun of anybody with a Discord name. You're not supposed to target marginalized groups. This is news to me.
Okay,
I didn't realize that
they
communists
probably only did that. They only did that. They just recently did it after the shooting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they probably did it because they're getting pressure from these people that they're not running.
Well, if they're going to be anti-American, I want their nuts in a vice, and I want them thrown off the fucking continent.
Well, I understand that, but what I'm trying to say is they probably wouldn't have cared at all before any of this happened, because if you, just like I just said, since 2016 that I've owned my own server on Discord, and I've not had problems because I'm attentive to my server. I'm on there every single day, 15, 25 times a day. And it takes work to do that.
That's too much like a job.
Well, I know, but I also have another couple people that go in there too that help me when just to see what's going on. And you need people like that. Okay, it takes dedication to have it. So these people that he's investigating on this in this one server, to me, it sounds like they were very dedicated. That they're putting lots of stuff in there and doing lots of communications. Maybe also having plenty of video chats or audio chats, because we can set up our own rooms and do those things. So I like it. I'm understanding what they're saying about it because I have my own. So I understand when they're talking about different things about it, I can understand it only because I've done it. But other people are going to look at it and think all of them are like that, but they're not. See, all of these different apps for this type of groups to go in there and do things, to play video games, to do different things, watch movies, watch a TV show, have your own game show in there, whatever you want to do. A lot of people have no clue. They do not understand what it takes to run one. So a dedicated group of people, like I can say about my own, how much work it is, right? Just like you said, it's a job. Well, these people apparently, whoever the top tiered people are in this group, I'm not saying Discord itself. I'm not saying the people that run Discord. I'm
No,
saying
you're saying the people that were part of the gaming chat
this
that
group that he
conspired
was
against
in.
fucking Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, there might be some higher up people in there that may not have just this one group. They might have groups in lots of different apps. And that's why I think this is great what he's doing. And they're doing it the way they're supposed to. Every single person IP address that logged into that should be looked at. And I 100% agree with that. If they were involved in any of this stuff because that person committed a crime, then that's the risk you take. Now, if somebody did something in my Discord, I'd be willing to do whatever they asked me to do to give it to them because I didn't do anything wrong. And my actions over time, when they research everything, they'll find that out. Okay. Now, I wouldn't trust the other administration that just left to do it because I'd be scared to death they're going to put it all on me, frame me or whatever, put whatever they want on there, which they could do. But right now, I trust this person that's looking into this. Even though other people are going to say, oh, he's owned by the Jews, whatever they want to say, they can say whatever they want. But to me, I trust this person. And right now, what's going on, I really do believe that they are doing the best they can.
I want to like Cash.
Okay,
I want
so
you to understand.
have to wait and
I
see.
want to like him.
We'll have to
I
wait
don't
and
think
see.
professionally he's the best choice.
Well, he's the one that Trump has faith in. So
Yeah,
we'll have to wait and
Trump
why.
has faith in him, and I mean, I'm just going to say that Trump also picked Mattis. We all thought Mattis was a golden boy until we dug into him and like, wait, you're the one moving around ISIS?
He's not God. Okay. Trump is not God. He's a man, just like you, just like me. I'm a woman. So we pick people by what we've seen them do and what interaction we've had. That's all we have to go on. So we have to have faith that this person's going to do the job that he said he would do, just like the other people in his cabinet, right?
I mean,
I think Hegseth, I was worried about Hegseth, but so far he's proven me wrong. I'll put it that way.
I'm almost curious as to how he acts when he's drunk, because everybody on the left say, "Oh, he's drunk, he's drunk, he's drunk." Motherfucker ain't drunk yet. Okay,
I haven't seen
if
him
he goes into work with a fucking fifth
he's
of
not Nancy
vodka,
Pelosi.
if he goes in like fucking Pelosified, and he wanders and staggers into work, and he starts just like going to the Joint Chiefs, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, you're cool, fuck you. That I want to see. But I like what I'm seeing Pete Hegseth do right now. I think he's done a very good job. All right,
So,
let's finish the video.
Here we go.
It's a big fucking video.
Yeah, here we go.
Violence. Let me just give you a few stats that I'm sure that you're all too familiar with.
In addition, the deputy FBI director, Dan Bongino, went on Newsmax to confirm that the FBI is investigating potential broader network of people who may have known about Tyler Robinson's plan to assassinate Charlie Kirk. And Bongino said that there have been significant developments in this investigation. This is Bongino.
Out there in the public space that a significant amount of the digital evidence we acquired in this case was on Discord. Now, listen, this does happen on a lot of platforms, and the difference between platforms and publishers is there's a different level of responsibility legally for them. However, individuals on that platform, it is not a safe harbor, Rob, to go on a platform and say, well, I said it publicly on said platform, so this I can threaten to kill or harass someone. It doesn't work that way. We'll go anywhere to look for you if we believe you committed a crime. And if we can gather enough PC, probable cause, and surpass that legal hurdle and get process done on you and arrest warrants and search warrants, we'll do it. I said this morning, and I'll say again, this is not the end of this investigation. It's not even the end of the beginning of the investigation. We've just started. The fact that we have a suspect, and everybody's obviously innocent until proven guilty in this constitutional republic we have, but we are investigating a potential broader network of people who may have known. And we've had some, I think I can tell you comfortably on your show tonight, we've had some developments in the case actually right before I came on the air. So there have been some significant developments in the case. You'll be the first to hear about it, and we hope to have more on that. Be careful about it right now, but we hope to have more on that within the coming hours.
Now, we know via the New York Post that the FBI is investigating a group called Armed Queers Salt Lake City. We mentioned them on the show yesterday. And I want to today dive deeper into this group, because when you realize who's behind this group, it tells you a lot about what this group is all about and what we need to do. What we need to do. Law enforcement, the federal government needs to do to stop what happened to Charlie Kirk from ever happening again. This group, Armed Queers, of course, deleted their social media presence immediately after news broke that Charlie Kirk had been assassinated. That's fairly suspicious behavior in and of itself. And one of the reasons it's suspicious behavior is because what the mission statement of Armed Queers is, which is to train gay, queer, and transgender people to arm themselves and fight against capitalism and the American system. Now,
Bingo.
to me, that's a call for violent overthrow of the U.S. government, which is against the law. Based on that alone, I would bring charges against this group, because we cannot allow wannabe
sedition?
terror cells
Go ahead, Janet.
Isn't that sedition?
to train people,
Really close. If it's
to
not
prepare,
treason.
to plot, and wait until they actually carry out an act of terror to stop them. We have to stop them before these acts of violence are committed. And if your mission statement is to fight against capitalism and the American system, and you're arming yourselves to do that, then you're not talking about fighting at the ballot box. You're not talking about fighting in the court of public opinion. You're talking about violence. And that's not allowed under our current legal code here in the United States. Now, Armed Queers, this group, has 6 principles. The first principle is the armed and militant protection of queer and trans communities. The second is the end of capitalist oppression and exploitation. The third is the creation of a socialist society. The fourth is trans liberation. And the fifth and sixth are the abolition of prisons and police. Again, we are long past the point where we can read these sentences and these words. They're very deceptively framed. We can't just dismiss them as euphemisms. This is a call to overthrow the government of the United States. And it's a group that arms trans people to do this. One of the leaders of this group said at an event this past July, 2 months ago, that we are a queer and trans-led Marxist-Leninist organization. So there you have it. It's not my inference. That's the reality of what they are. So that brings us to the leader of this group, a person by the name of Urmaya Fanayan. And I mentioned this person yesterday, and I mistakenly called Urmaya Fanayan yesterday because that's what the name indicates. Well, I was mistaken. Breaking news, Urmaya Fanayan is a biological male. Urmaya Fanayan is a man who identifies now as a woman after having quote-unquote transed in high school. What's funny is yesterday, when we were doing show prep for the show, I said to my producer, I said, Urmaya Fanayan, what kind of name is that? It sounds like a fake name. It sounds like the name of one of these weird gaming fairy people when they want to reject their parents and their family in Western civilization, that they make up some like really weird, bizarre sounding name. That's what Urmaya Fanayan sounds like. Mm-hmm. Well, it turns out that was exactly right. Urmaya Fanayan is a transgender identifying person who was born a biological man. And Urmaya Fanayan, aside even from his association with Armed Queers, and we'll get to who's behind Armed Queers in just a moment, Urmaya Fanayan is deeply entrenched in the Democrat political apparatus. I'm not just talking about the leftist apparatus, the Democrat Party political apparatus. This is a picture of Urmaya Fanayan on stage with Democrat Senator Elizabeth Warren. You see that on the screen. This is back, 2019? 2019? Standing on the stage with Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren has her arm cozily around Urmaya Fanayan's shoulder. We have to wonder what Elizabeth Warren's...
shoulder.
It's a pretend woman and a pretend Indian. Sorry.
I mean, the fucking Democrat Party is nothing but cosplay. Just understand that. Like, you and I, we get Halloween.
You can't say that because I love cosplay. I don't see it that way at all.
I can't fucking say that
You know
These
what?
fuckers do it 24/7.
They are impersonators. That's what they are. They are not cosplayers. They are impersonators. There you go. Now, what we say? Want me to go ahead and push play again?
Please.
Okay.
Statement would be now. What was she embracing? What was she embracing? Armaya Fanayan worked on Elizabeth Warren's campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Armaya Fanayan was also on the payroll of the Utah Democrat State Committee. This individual, and this point is extremely important, which is why I'm making it up front before we unmask who is behind armed queers. It's extremely important for us to understand that Armaya Fanayan is not a fringe player on the left, that Armaya Fanayan is an accepted mainstream figure in the Democrat Party, both at the state level in Utah and at the federal level, working on Elizabeth Warren's campaign and being cozily hugged by Elizabeth Warren on stage, which means Elizabeth Warren deliberately chose to honor this man who was pretending to be a woman back in 2019. So what are the beliefs of this man, Armaya Fanayan, who pretends to be a woman? Well, Armaya Fanayan tells us himself in his own words, if your war, he says, is with trans people, then this is what's going to happen to you. Take a listen.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Hello to the committee. My name is Armia Fanayan. I am a member of Armed Queers Salt Lake City. And
gay.
I want to tell you, I have been organizing against
Not
bills
just
such as the
gay.
Do what?
It doesn't just sound gay, it completely is gay. This is like probably the gayest thing any of you will see in the next week. And this happened, this came out earlier this week. When I first discovered this, I shared it with a friend of mine, shared it with my dad. My dad told me it was hard to watch, and that he really didn't want to have me send him any more news links anymore where people did deep dives, because the shit that he discovered on this is a very upsetting video when you discover just how deep it is, how well funded they are, and how they were able to change the narrative in late 2025 by killing Charlie. This kind of pisses you off. So for those of you that are here still, thank you.
The thing is that that's what most people do when they are confronted by this type of thing, and the evidence is coming out of who's backing it and what they're doing with it. Most people turn their back and just go the other way because they don't want to be involved. Why do you think this kind of stuff lasts so long, and why they get away with it? Because people don't want to deal with it. They don't want to admit that this is happening, so they pretend it isn't.
And not that my dad's a weak guy. He's just 74.
No, I know,
and,
but I know half the people I know would turn around and walk the other way. Remember what I told you? I bring it up many times. That woman that was being attacked at her front door, being stabbed over and over, and 20-something people are standing on the street watching.
The young Ukrainian girl on a fucking metro train. There's 7 people. We're not going to mention what race they were, but they didn't give a shit. They just watched the fucking thing like it's the news. Oh, look, she's getting stabbed. Oh, she's bleeding all over the place.
I don't want to get stabbed, so I'm just going to pretend like I don't see what's happening. See, that's the sad truth. And people like me that aren't, anybody really, but because I say things, I get shut down. I get death threats. People say horrible shit to me all the time because they don't like what I say.
And then that's one of the reasons why I don't get as many death threats as you, because I tell them, please come after me. I've got the ammo. I've got the fucking means to make you a scarecrow.
But that's
you
what I'm
too.
saying.
But I just don't. There's no suffering fools, and plus, it's even worse.
I wanted to say that this is Liz Wheeler's show on the Blaze Network.
Yes,
so, and that's why I didn't make this full screen, because I want you to see the Blaze logo and stuff. And I'm going to share that in the chat a few times so that you guys can.
But the thing is that I've noticed that you get more death threats than I do, and I think it's because 1, you're a woman, and 2, a lot of people don't understand Arkansas. Texas is largely misunderstood. We're very slowly turning purple state. I don't like that, but it's happening. I really can't do nothing to stop it. I'm one guy. But I have noticed that a lot of people don't want to fuck with quote unquote Texas boys because they're fearful of things. Whereas, oh, well, she lives in Arkansas. I'm going to give her a death threat. And I'd be more fearful of fucking with Janet than Bruce because if I drop you, I got to take you out of San Antonio where there's like 200 cameras per block. And they're going to notice that I'm carrying a 150 to 200 pound carpet away from whatever scene you decided to make your fatal move in. And then afterwards, I got to take you out in the country where there's still cameras. And I got to figure out exactly if I can, get you quickly buried or if I can just put you on a pig run. Janet lives in a very nice wooded area. Her state's very
so all I got to do is say when the person who breaks in my house and tries to hurt me after I've shot them and they're laying there bleeding and they say, well, aren't you going to call the cops? And I'm going to say,
why?
No. Why? Nobody knows you're here. So
I'm going to feed you to the
I
dog.
don't have any problems. So, that's just the way it is. But yeah, let me go back, start playing some more. Here we go.
This one for 10 years now.
Pause it for 1 second, Spencer.
The first time I have ever had to plead to the legislature.
Just for context here, two things are important to note. This is testimony by Ermiah Fanayan against a bill in Utah that would prohibit biological men who identify as women from going into women's bathrooms. This is what Ermiah Fanayan is testifying against. He is also, by the way, an immigrant from Iran, a refugee from Iran, he calls himself. But that's what he's testifying against. He wants biological men to be allowed in women's bathrooms. You can continue playing the video.
The legislature to stand with trans people in the face of growing attacks against us. I was only 15 years old. At 15 years old, I had to decide whether I was going to do homework that day or advocate for my right to use the restroom in peace. Let me ask you, was I a threat at 15 years old?
Yes.
And here we are.
Yeah, you were.
Still having to take time out of our busy days. As bills such as this one insist trans people are a threat that should be legislated away, its proponents are capitulating to a propaganda machine led by the very forces who have been against all that's benefited women since we can remember. Where were they when reproductive freedom was on the chopping block? Where were they when domestic violence service providers are having to compete for resources? Where are they when women are without health care all across this state? They are not.
I got to add something to that.
Lady is just this guy is a fucking loon.
I know, but the thing is, when this guy, okay, even though the outside shell may look like a woman, when they go to the doctor, to have a physical, they have to have their prostate checked. How many women do you know that has a prostate?
All of them that look like that with that fucking katana.
So you can't go to a regular gynecologist like a normal woman like me.
She got to get her balls checked for fucking cancer.
And plus, even if they had the surgery and had their penis inverted, okay, they still have a prostate. So it's just ridiculous because you cannot have regular care like a woman.
I'm a female.
Uterine cancer. You can't get breast cancer or none of those things because you're not a woman.
It's just like, I mean, you got those two fags. You got one that was on the cover of a Bud Light can, which nobody that drank beer gave a fuck about Bud Light. We didn't drink that stuff. I mean, we piss a harder stream. And, then you got the other guy, Jeffrey Marsh, who he loves to talk to kids. And I can't wait to see him scattered from a Vermeer. What's it going to be? Veneer or Husqvarna that's going to be chewing Jeffrey Marsh's shit out because that guy, he loves to talk to kids. He sets up social media and he begs kids to come talk to him and, conspire against, what their parents want and, have them raised upright and good citizens, et cetera, et cetera. He's trying to fucking destroy the kids. And I'm just waiting. I know this is what a quote unquote conspiracy is. But I don't like Jeffrey Marsh. I'm pretty okay talking about him. I love the idea of him not being here on the planet tomorrow. He's a fucking Baal Moloch worshiping piece of shit that he has no value for quote unquote cisgender children. He wants to pervert everything. He wants to destroy it all. And he's one of these guys puts a woman's dress on, has a beard. Might as well be one of those Disney fucking actors at the Florida setup, or especially California, where you have Cinderella come up and she's got like 5 days growth. He looks like one of those fuckers. Can't stand that guy. But man, I'm not for this world, and I understand it. I look at these people. I'm like, I can't wait for you to be gone. I can't wait for you to be past tense.
It will happen. Okay,
it's not soon enough.
All of this is getting pushed out. That's why they're fighting back so hard.
Oh yeah, we're over the target. That's for sure.
We're way past over the target. The bomb's about to crash.
No, Janet. When you're over the target, that's when you suffer the flack. That's why you're getting shot at a lot. That's why you're getting all the grief from the left, because you're outlining and illustrating exactly everything they're doing. That's why
we're stopping them from getting the money they need to fund this stupid shit.
I hope we fucking bankrupt the shit out of them.
Doge started all of it. That's when all of them started going crazy. Remember? They just started going nuts.
Is Doge still in action, or did they largely stop all off sport?
No, they're still in action.
Good. That makes me happy.
You have to go to remember on X. You can go to the Doge page, and they post everything that they're doing. And they're still doing stuff, and that's the thing. They are working on it, and people are pissed off. So here we go. Here's some more.
Right.
Not only nowhere to be found, but are also the very cause behind these issues as well. But somehow trans women, some of the most vulnerable and exploited women among us, are the problem.
You're not a woman. You're not a fucking woman.
I am completely unconvinced by the anti-trans hysteria. Sorry, Kira. I am completely unconvinced by the emotional anecdotals.
Address to the chair, please.
I'm an Apache TAC helicopter.
And let me just say this. If your war is with trans people, you will lose. Since the first time I have come to you about trans rights, solidarity with the trans community continues to grow to this day. And I do not wish to be back here 10 years from now. Stand with the trans people of this state. Thank you.
If your war is with trans people, he says, you will lose. Well, Armaya Fanayan went on to say that for tangible change to take place in our society, violent protests and rebellions must take place. Take a listen.
Some people say that it takes a violent protest to get people to listen. Do you agree, or should they remain peaceful?
I agree. I absolutely agree. You know, I'm a member of the LGBTQ community, and our liberation and our rights came after the Stonewall riots. That's something that a lot of people don't like to talk about, is that, you know, the LGBTQ movement started with Stonewall riots. I wouldn't even be able to be a student at this school if it wasn't for a violent riot that took place within a span of 3 days. So I absolutely agree that sometimes violent protests and really riots and those kinds of loud rebellions must take place for tangible change.
Violent protests and rebellions must take place for tangible change. So suddenly, perhaps it's not so surprising that Armaya Fanayan runs a group dedicated to Marxism, to the violent overthrow of the U.S. government. But here's where it becomes even more interesting. That in and of itself, by the way, is grounds for the FBI to investigate him, as I hope they are. We know that Armed Queers is currently under FBI investigation to determine whether they had any foreknowledge of Tyler Robinson's assassination of Charlie Kirk. I don't know if there is a direct or indirect connection between Armed Queers Salt Lake City and Tyler Robinson. I don't know. I don't know whether this is just part of the widened net that the FBI director and the deputy FBI director describe, that now they are going to be investigating these radical groups that are calling for violence, that are calling for the violent overthrow of the United States, that are calling for violence against conservatives. Even if it were just that, it is necessary, it is critical, it is warranted. I suspect that we are going to find out in the days and the weeks to come that there is a direct or indirect connection between Armed Queers Salt Lake City and either Tyler Robinson and Lance Twiggs. I don't know what that connection will be. I don't know if members of Armed Queers followed Tyler Robinson or Lance Twiggs or vice versa. If they followed members of Armed Queers, I don't know if Tyler Robinson and his trans boyfriend attended workshops or events organized by Armed Queers. I don't know what that connection will be. Maybe the FBI already knows. Maybe Utah law enforcement already knows. We don't know. What we know is that the founder of Armed Queers says that in order for tangible change to take place, violent protests and rebellions must happen. And perhaps it should come as no surprise that Ermiah Fanayan is also an organizer for the Party of Socialism and Liberation, the PSL. Now, if you were watching this show in July, and I know a lot of you were, but there are also a lot of people with us today who are newer to the show. I'm going to give you a little refresher of what we talked about in July when the violent anti-ICE riots broke out in Los Angeles in July. The mainstream media was very quick to do what they're doing now, which is to gaslight you and to try to form your perception of those riots. They told you that they were peaceful. They told you that it was a grassroots effort of people who had grievances against President Trump's mass deportations.
You don't hate the media enough. Whenever something happens and the media starts to throw out half-truths and gaslight you into behaving a certain way when having all the facts would cause you to definitely think and perform a certain way, but going off on halvesies will cause a difference of the populace reaction. You know, you don't hate the media enough for doing things like that. Just like what you and I were talking about earlier when we were discussing what Wikipedia's got on their pages and how a lot of the language has been co-opted into making it sound like no matter what, anything that's on the right, bad. Let's make the Nazis right-wingers. Bad Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So ready?
And that was not true. None of that was true. It wasn't peaceful. There were violent rioters who were throwing bricks at police officers and at buildings. They were breaking windows at Los Angeles law enforcement precinct buildings. They were lighting cars on fire, pouring gasoline over the engines of cars and lighting them on fire. They were waving Palestinian flags. They were wearing the Hamas keffiyeh neckerchief that indicates that you are pro-terrorism. This was anything but a peaceful protest. And of course, the mainstream media knew that. They lied to you because they hope that you're stupid. They hope that you weren't looking at the videos of these riots themselves. But they were neither peaceful nor were they grassroots. This was not an organic gathering of people who had a grievance against their government. This was coordinated. It was organized. It was funded. And we helped unmask the organizations and the people funding the organizations that actually staged these riots. And one of the key figures behind these violent anti-ICE riots is an almost billionaire by the name of Neville Roy Singham. You've maybe never heard the name of this guy before. He's not as familiar to people on the right as, say, a George Soros is. I would argue that Neville Roy Singham is more powerful than George Soros in this moment. He's certainly more nefarious than George Soros. Neville Roy Singham, a quick backgrounder on him. He is a former technology mogul. He sold his company a couple decades ago for three quarters of $1 billion. When I say he's almost a billionaire, I think he sold it for $700 million. After he sold his company for almost $1 billion, he moved to China. He now resides in Shanghai, China. Now, you and I know this very well, that here in the United States, we have a lot of people from other countries who live in our country. Some of these people are legal. Some of them are not legal. That doesn't happen in China. If you are a long-term resident of China, then you are there because the Chinese Communist Party allows you to be there. So the fact that Neville Roy Singham resides in Shanghai, China is your first red flag as to this individual. But Neville Roy Singham has a long digital footprint, a long history of being an open communist. This is not something that I'm inferring from his writing or his behavior. Neville Roy Singham is not only ideologically a communist himself, meaning he has embraced that ideology, he now uses his immense wealth to fund groups specifically in the United States that are motivated by communist ideology. And the purpose of these groups is to incite civil unrest. So Neville Roy Singham, for example, funds the group Students for Justice in Palestine, this pro-Hamas, anti-Israel group that caused some of the violent pro-Hamas, anti-Israel riots that we saw on college campuses just a few months back. Neville Roy Singham also funds the Party for Socialism and Liberation. The Party for Socialism and Liberation was one of the groups that was a key player in organizing the violent anti-ICE riots. They were the ones that printed a lot of the posters that showed up at these signs. They were the ones that organized these so-called rapid response teams, the people who, isn't it funny how as soon as something political happens, you have this busload of protesters as if they were just waiting to be told a location by whoever's organizing them. They just show up, these paid protesters. The Party for Socialism and Liberation is one of the groups that produces these paid protesters at whatever venue and for whatever cause.
That's what I've been saying since I started the shit show, is that you can't get that many people week after week after week to show up to protest unless somebody's paying their way. They're feeding them. They're helping them have places to sleep and stay, especially if they're being bussed in, right? All that. And if they get arrested and they have a lawyers on retainer for all these people, that's expensive. That's not cheap. You can't just snap your fingers to say, "Oh, I need a lawyer." And when you get put in the slammer and they say, "Well, do you want to call your lawyer?" You just call whoever it is that organized everything, and then they'll get it for you. Okay. But the fact that they're right back out on the street the next day proves to me that they're paid for, because regular people like me don't have a lawyer on retainer. I don't know a single person that I spend time with on a weekly basis, basically, that has a lawyer on retainer. That right there is common sense. It tells you somebody's paying for their lawyers to bail them out because they're going to get arrested. And it's to me, it's as plain as day.
The radical left deems it necessary to stage a riot against. Neville Roy Singham is part of this. Neville Roy Singham, by the way, that's his legal name. His friends know him as Roy Singham. He's married to the co-founder of Code Pink, Jody Evans. Code Pink, of course, are these radical feminists. They brand themselves as being anti-war activists. They're kind of the really crazy looking topless feminists that'll march around like as if they're like militant, right? They'll march around as if they're soldiers, but they're not wearing any clothes to protest wars. That's Jody Evans, Code Pink. They are a radical, revolutionary, so-called anti-war organization who used to speak out against communist China, but funnily enough, after Jody Evans married Roy Singham, suddenly Code Pink started speaking highly of the Chinese Communist Party and not speaking out against the human rights abuses that the Chinese Communist Party is inflicting on the Uyghur Muslims, for example. Mm-hmm. Neville Roy Singham, the allegation against him, it seems pretty clear to me. The allegation against him is that he acts in lockstep with the Chinese Communist Party, that it is the Chinese Communist Party's agenda to incite civil unrest in the United States in order to take over as the world dominant superpower. And Neville Roy Singham takes an active part in their propaganda, not only paying these groups to incite civil unrest and violence in the United States, but by propagating their literal propaganda. And the example of that I'll give is he shares an office in Shanghai with a Chinese Communist Party propaganda firm whose goal is to brainwash the global public about the Chinese Communist Party. This man was investigated by the FBI back in the 1970s for being part of a subversive group. He funds to the tune of more money than you and I will ever see combined. He funds not only the Party for Socialism and Liberation and Students for Justice in Palestine. He funds an organization called the Answer Coalition, which is a key player in a lot of these operations. For example, when we discussed yesterday armed queers trip to communist Cuba, and the group NOC, it's so confusing, all these groups. They use them like a shell game. The group that organized the trip to Cuba, NOC, was also a member of that group. NOC was the Roy Singham groups, was some of Roy Singham groups. This man is highly, highly tied in to these subversive organizations that are currently organizing violence in the United States. So that brings us back to Armed Queers. That brings us back to the founder of Armed Queers, Ermaya Fanayan, this biological man who now identifies as a woman. This man, Ermaya Fanayan, is associated with the Party for Socialism and Liberation, is an organizer for the Party of Socialism and Liberation, an organization that is funded by Neville Roy Singham. This man, this billionaire who is buddy-buddy with the Chinese Communist Party, who won't live in America, who's using his immense wealth to destabilize the United States with violence. When we unmasked Roy Singham back in July, it sparked congressional investigations. The House Oversight Committee submitted document requests telling Roy Singham that he needed to turn over evidence that would show how his finances were behind the anti-ICE riots. On the Senate side, Senator Josh Hawley also announced investigations into Roy Singham, but 2 months later, we haven't seen any results of this. And I understand that Congress is like a slow-moving beast, but this man needs to be held accountable because this man is almost singularly behind these groups, and the FBI needs to understand this. The FBI, if you're investigating, if you're dropping a wider net and investigating these radical trans groups, you have to understand all roads lead back to Roy Singham. Take Zohran Mamdani in New York City, for example. He's also tied to Roy Singham. Not only is Zohran Mamdani the communist candidate for mayor of New York City, not only is he tied to Students for Justice in Palestine, which is funded by Roy Singham, a member of, or a woman who was associated with his campaign, Alicia Singham Goodwin, is Singham's niece. Roy Singham's sister, Shanti Singham, donated to Zohran Mamdani's campaign. Roy Singham is there. He's always there. He's quiet. He's not a public-facing figure, but his money is funding subversive efforts in the United States of America. This is what I think of when I hear Stephen Miller's promise that in the name of Charlie Kirk, we will dismantle these leftist terrorist organizations. This is what we're dealing with.
This right here, this is what you call real journalism right here.
Yeah, that's why I wanted you to play it. And I'm
I know,
so
but
thankful.
this is what we haven't had in a long time in our country because of the Smith-Mundt Act. Okay. And now it's been changed and altered by Obama. So that's why when you change a channel, you hear, we're trying to save our democracy. We're trying to save our democracy. We're trying to save our democracy by every single channel because they're all on the exact same playbook because they're all owned. But they can't own these people and us. Okay, there's too many of us, and more people are turning off the TV and turning on these apps and listening to people like this to get the truth. And that is the only reason why. But you know what? This is scary. I feel scared for these people now. They have a target on them now. I hope she has good security.
Start at Roy Singham and follow every dime of his money, and it will lead you to the most insidious, the most demonic, the most coordinated, organized, funded efforts to destabilize our country and kill us. Now, here's the thing.
You know,
I don't
Steven
understand
Crowder can't go anywhere without security, right?
why we don't outlaw communism in our country. And hold on a second before you react to that.
Steven Crowder hasn't been without security since he was 19.
It shouldn't be illegal for you to, as an individual,
Charlie was surrounded by security.
Buy into a communist ideology. If you want to be a demonic idiot, I suppose you can feel persuaded by the communist ideology. I'm not advocating for thought police per se, but I don't understand why we as a nation don't illegalize organized groups that advocate for communism and the violent overthrow of the United States. There was a video we had prepared for the show yesterday that I didn't end up getting a chance to play, in which a member of Armed Queers, and Spencer, was that Ermaya Fanayan, who said, this revolution is not something that we will vote in. I'm not sure if it was that individual, but it was someone associated with this group who said, this is not a revolution that we vote in. When you are a group that is committed to the communist ideology, you're not advocating that communism happen through people's votes. You're not advocating that communism be imposed on the people through the democratic process. You're advocating for an ideology that violently destroys the civil institutions in our country and then topples the governmental structure afterward. You don't have a constitutional right to do that.
Well, one of the things is that people need to realize.
So yesterday,
let me stop that. People have to realize that communism isn't for the communists themselves; it's for the people. It's the people. The communists are the ones in charge of all the people. See what I mean? Mm-hmm. So they don't care about what happens to the people because the people are trivial. The communists, the leaders, are the ones that are in power, and that's what I see when I see Democrats. Basically, I see people that want to be in power. That's all I see. I don't see them doing things for the people. And a lot of people, for some reason, keep thinking that they care about the people, but they don't. How can you have any group of people that every year they get more and more and more money, yet they never solve anything? They never solve a single problem. They just say, well, if we had more money. And look, now we're finding out they had trillions and trillions of dollars over the years through USAID. That Doge has been finding. We're finding people that were on Social Security that getting checks after they're 200 years old, 187, stuff like that. And somebody was cashing the checks. Now, every single person that cashed a check, knowing that check wasn't theirs, it doesn't matter who they are, they should be arrested. That's fraud. Every single person that did that should be arrested. I believe in freedom of that. And the thing is, how are we supposed to stop the next person or the person after that from fraud, security fraud, Social Security fraud, if we don't arrest people and put them in prison for it? See what I mean? Mm-hmm. You have to, it's just like having a kid. If you have a kid and you have a cookie jar on the counter and the kid sees you putting the cookies in there and you tell him you can't have any cookies till after you have a dinner. And if you have a dinner, then you can have one. You can pick whatever cookie you want out of there. And they're all excited. But every time she goes in the kitchen, she sees them trying to get cookies out of the cookie jar. Okay. And then sooner or later, you're going to go in there and they're going to be crumbs everywhere. And they're going to have cookie all over their face. And they're going to swear they didn't eat one. Okay. So either you believe what they're saying, even though the evidence is proving the opposite of it, or you just put your blinders on and pretend like you didn't see anything. But what happens with Democrats, instead of punishing the kid for taking the cookie and lying about it, they just take the cookie jar and move it. See what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's what they do. And they do it over and over and over and over again. That's why when I go to the grocery store or to the pharmacy and I get me a basket to get some nose spray and some eye drops and some itch cream or whatever, and I'm walking through the store, I get shoved out of the way and here comes 6 people with garbage bags and they're filling their bags with stuff off the shelves and pushing everybody out of the way. And we're all standing around with our little basket with 2 or 3 items in it. And then they leave. They're allowed to just leave and they don't do anything to stop them. But yet I'm not going to walk out with my basket of few items And they'd probably arrest me because I'm the bad guy. See what I mean? That's the difference right there, by the way they treat people and let them just walk away with stuff that doesn't belong to them when they wouldn't let you do it. See, that's when all this stuff started crumbling, is when we let the criminals control what's going on. And I feel like that every time I go to buy allergy pills, every single time, every 10 days, I got to go stand in line at the pharmacy, get my little box of 20 pills, because they're, 2 a day, 12-hour pills. And I have to show my driver's license and sign so that I don't make meth or some other drugs, whatever it is that people make with sinus medicine. I don't know. But the thing is, the criminals have made it to where I'm treated like a criminal just to buy medicine so that I'm not stuffed up all the time. It's pathetic the way that it's turned out. And but we've let them do it. We've slowly let the criminals take over, because all of us are
That's
rushing
the sign
around.
of a communist society.
I know, but we as conservatives are rushing around to pay our bills, take care of our families and stuff. And then when it's time to vote for president, we're all in line and all ready to vote. And when it's time for governor, wait a minute, when we're waiting for go for governor and big parts, we're all for it. But when it comes to our sheriff or our mayor or our county clerk and little positions like that, we kind of, I don't really have time to run out there today.
You know what? I really get pissed off of that too, because I went out and I voted this last time.
Yeah, you did. But how many people did you see there?
It was very dead.
Okay, that's what
And
I'm
the people
saying.
that were there were obviously not of the same mindset I had, because they had like bluish and chrysanthemum colored hair,
Well, the thing is, I've worked the polls in 2 different states multiple times, over and over again. And not just for the big elections, for little ones, for like a new mayor of this town. And then we need another quorum court member or whatever it is, little elections that matter to your state. Okay. And that's where we're hurting. That's where we've really hurt our states. And all you have to do is just look at the voting numbers in your state, and then look at your stuff. The first time I really started paying attention to Texas is when I went to visit some relatives, and I get the newspaper, the Dallas Morning Herald or whatever it's called. And I started reading it. I know, I started reading. I was like, what the fuck? This is a liberal rag, and it's in the middle of Texas.
No, it's not in the middle of Texas. It's in Dallas.
Okay, it's in the state of Texas. I was shocked, and I was like, what is this? Why do you guys let this happen? And I started asking all of them, don't you guys vote? Well, yeah, I try to vote, whatever. They're too busy. Everybody's too busy to make sure that you have the right city council people and all that shit. That's why we're imploding. That's why all of our states are turning purple. All we have to do is lose Texas or Florida, and they know it. Once we lose one of those states, it's not going to matter anymore. They own both coasts, and then they own the 2 states that have 40-something electoral college votes. Little Arkansas has 4 votes, and there's more people in the city of New York, just the city, not even the state, than there is in the whole state of Arkansas. See, people just don't realize that concept of that. It doesn't sink in. We should go by popular vote. They live in a little state that barely has enough people to even fill one city in a big state like California. LA or one of those cities might even have more than they have in their whole state. And they're not thinking that way. They're not thinking about the numbers, why our forefathers set it up to where we had electoral college to make it as even and balanced as we could. That's why each state has 2 senators. Doesn't matter how big the state is or how many people we have in that state. We have representation in Washington, D.C. to try to keep us involved as a state in what's going on.
What do you think about what's going on? We're done talking about the armed faggots in Utah, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think was going on in Minnesota? Did you see the news of Minnesota?
Which new news? Which one?
Okay, the news of the fact that they found out that about roughly half of the Somalis that made it into Minnesota made it there illegally.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Okay, what do you think about that, Janet? What do you have to say about this?
I think it's the same people that the auto pin people to set things up for themselves. And look what's happening though. You're seeing certain cities that have call to prayer 5 times a day. Even though they have mosques, they don't pray inside their mosque. They take over the streets because they own the place. They pretty much can do whatever they want, whenever they want.
You know what would fix that? You get a couple steam shovels and have Ku Klux Knievel get out there during that for the first one, the 5:30 call to prayer bullshit. When they start lining the streets, Ku Klux Knievel gets out there with a steam shovel with the asphalt press, and he makes them part of the blacktop. That would fix it. I know that sounds like a bit ridiculous or whatever. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about those people. I fucking hate them.
Well, I have a couple things that I wanted to do before, but you're the one that brought up the thing that we just watched, which was really, really important.
I had to show you that because I didn't think you'd seen it yet.
No, I hadn't.
And I honestly felt like you needed to see what's going on and who's funding all of this bullshit.
Well, I knew it was being funded. I just said I didn't know who it was because it was impossible that that many people would show up week after week after week and then end out on the street the very next day after they got arrested, because normal people like me don't have retained lawyers waiting for us because we're going to protest every weekend. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought it was common sense says that they are they're paid to be there. But I wanted to share a couple things. This is going to be the first one I'm going to share. You've already seen it, but I wanted to share my point of view on something because this is my opinion. Just like I said in the little very beginning, it's the opinion of the people in this panel. It's our opinion. We're not stating anything as factual. It's factual to me because I believe it, but it's up to you to research and find out what you believe that's going on. That's why I try to share links and things like that for you to look into it. But a lot of people don't look at things the same way I do for some reason because they're different, But I believe that a lot of the things that are happening is because of people like this gentleman. He's got a skirt on, but I still think he's a gentleman. That's what I would call him. If I saw him walking in the mall dressed like this and I bumped into him, I'd say, "I'm sorry, sir." That's what I would say to him. Because he has a purse and heels and a skirt does not make him a woman. I was born a woman. I have had cramps. I've had menstrual cycles. I've given birth. I've had all those things that make me a woman, and I don't have a prostate. So I can't say that for this person. They may feel like a woman today, but he's not. His bones one day will prove he's a man. He's biologically a man. But because of people like this gentleman, which I'm going to show you a little bit of. Here we go.
Women's style. So give it a little bit different look. And so I'll see how this works out. Try a few different colors as we move along and see if that's something I want to do. But anyway, like I said, we're back indoors today because of the weather outside. I had I thought I was going to try a couple small places today, a couple small towns, but I don't know if that'll.
Now, I wanted to bring something up about this. A lot of people think that a person that dresses like this and does this is wanting to be trans. Well, most likely this person just gets sexually aroused by looking at the reactions of people while he's dressed like this. Okay, I don't know if that makes sense to a lot of people, but just like a person that has a trench coat on that shows his wee-wee to people when he walks around, and then you scream or whatever, they get turned on by that. That's what turns them on. This is their fetish. This is like a fetish right here. What was his name? Eddie Izzard. Remember him?
Yep.
Okay. He would dress very flamboyant, but he still had sex with women. Okay. He wanted to be with women. Now he says he's had sex with men too, but mostly all his relationships were with women. He had a fetish. He liked to wear lipstick and a girdle and a bra and stuff like that. Not all the time, but it got to be more and more as he got older, I guess. But that's what this is. It's a fetish, just like men that are obsessed with fat women. They want a fat woman that lays on them, and stuff like that. That's very rolly, that kind of stuff. Different people want different things. Some guy might want to be squeezed or have his head squeezed by a woman's thighs. There's all kinds of fetishes. Tattoo fetishes. People get tons and tons of tattoos. Or a guy might want to have a woman dressed dominatrix style, make him lick the floor and wash the toilet and treat him really bad and whip him and stuff, and not even have sex with him. This isn't sexual. Okay. It's like it's a fetish. It's something that they get off on, but it has nothing to do with actually having intercourse. It's all on the way people react to you and how you get treated. It's really weird. There's been a couple movies about stuff like this and some documentaries about different fetishes. If you're interested in that, you should watch some of those, because if you want to find out more about what fetishes are, it's bizarre how many fetishes there are out there. I mean, it's stuff that I'm like, nah, I'm not interested. It's really bizarre. But basically, that's what I'm thinking from this guy. Because as you're watching him walk around acting like he's talking on the phone to someone or doing a FaceTime or making a video, you can watch him. He's looking at the people and he's making sure he's facing them and he's watching for the reactions. Because I have seen some men that put a wig on and heels and they walk in. And they won't be wearing underwear. Okay, they have no underwear on, and they'll walk in with their skirt or whatever, or with their privates hanging out of their clothes to get a reaction from people. That's what they want. That's all they want you to go, or oh my God, whatever it is that you do. And that's what they get off on. They think that they get turned on or whatever it is. It's some kind of freaky deaky thing they get into. But because of people like this, which is more and more of them are willing to come out in public now because they feel like they have the right to now because of the transgender movement. It's pretty much just dismayed the whole gay and lesbians groups that have finally worked their way into the public to where they can get married and have kids and do all these things and be treated like any other couple, right? But now they're not. Now they're having the fingers pointed at them again. They're going to have to start from scratch after all of this fiasco has hurt the gay and lesbian movement that just loves kids, that wants to be just a normal person. They just happen to be attracted to the same sex. That's it. That's the only difference. They're not into this shit. They're not into the fetish bullshit stuff that these people are. Okay. This is the group of people that I feel is very dangerous for our families and things like that. This person, I'm more afraid of this type of person than I am of a person that actually has dysphoria. Gender dysphoria is a real illness. Normally you go to a psychiatrist, you get diagnosed with it. Because when you look in the mirror, you don't believe the person looking back at you is really you. You see yourself differently than what's in there, and that it messes them up. So they're told they have to live that way as a woman or a man, whatever gender they think they are, for a year or whatever. And then once they've done that, then they will start them on medicine, which means their hormones to change it or whatever, to try to change their appearance. They go to classes to learn to speak better for the gender they want to be, all this stuff to transform themselves. And they live every day like that. Okay. That is real gender dysphoria. A person that does this is not a person that has gender dysphoria. I'm telling you right now, this is a fetish, what this person is doing, in my opinion. Okay. There you go. Make sure I put that on there. But I want to show you what we're getting because of this, because this is now openly accepted. A person can walk around like that. I wouldn't want to take my kid to the mall if I had my children with me, walking around, taking them shopping or whatever for Christmas presents or whatever, and have them go, "Mommy, why is that man wearing a skirt?" And me have to go home and explain to my kid that this person has a mental problem and they like dressing up like that. Or I could lie and say, "Oh, they're getting ready to do a birthday party or something," make up some shit. I don't know, because depending how old your child is, whether or not they're even going to understand what's going on, it's terrible that this person feels that he's better than everyone around him, because he's most likely a narcissist also, so that nobody else matters. Okay, only he matters, or that person's needs matter, no one else's. And that's what's sad about these people too, is that they don't care about anybody else's feelings. Even if I was walking through the mall with my child, okay, and I looked over and I see a man and woman groping each other with their genitals hanging out and stuff, I would be just as mad. I'd be just as upset if two normal man and woman couple doing the same thing, because that type of stuff isn't meant to be public. That's a private thing that you should do behind closed doors. It's not something I want to see in public. I don't care what gender you are. You see what I mean? So I don't have a problem with it. It's just, to me, this is very inappropriate. And he's doing it to get a rise out of people, to see their reaction to him. So it's pretty disgusting, I think. But I'm going to move on to the next picture, because the reason that I wanted to do this, because of why I believe certain companies push certain things, and it's because of that. That person has made it acceptable for certain companies to be able to sell their products the way that they see fit, because, these are the people we're trying to please. And since we're in America, we got to please as many people as we can. And you're a conservative, so you're accepting. You should accept that this is reality and this is the new future. Here you go. Now you have Victoria's Secret hiring Alex, a man that likes to pretend to be a woman, as their new model to sell.
I've never valued Victoria's Secret in the past.
To sell women's
I never give a shit about it.
It's disgusting. But the thing is, I posted this today. I shared it and I wrote, "Well, I guess real women can use the pocket in the crotch to keep your keys and your money in it, so no one would be able to know it's there, because that's where they put their dick. It's a little pouch that's down there that they tuck their dick in to hold it down." So that's why when you see a transgender sit down, that they sit weirdly, because their dick's between their legs. Okay. Most every person that says they're transgender like this hasn't had surgery. They still have a penis. They haven't had it pulled inside their body and gone through the whole rigmarole. And it's way easier for a man to become a woman or look like a woman, have that type of surgery, because they're still the same penis. They just take the stuff off and they pull it up inside the body and tack it down. And they have to have, use a dildo so many times a day to keep the skin from growing together, because now that it's inverted or whatever. But to do a woman to become a man, they have to cut a big hunk of skin off their thigh, one of their thighs, and make it into a penis. And then they have to add tubing to their urethra and all that stuff. It looks like a mangled piece of meat with scars and lots of infections. And it's really terrible. The whole thing is just horrible. It's just Frankenstein.
It looks like they've been punching the lasagna for 30 minutes.
But if you want to understand how they do this stuff, you just have to get online and look it up. There's all kinds of surgeries. You can watch them do surgeries on these people. Okay. Shave off their Adam's apple, but it costs a lot of money. I mean, I can't even imagine if I had the money that this person spent to get ribs removed and do all the stuff for their skin and electrolysis and all that. I would look damn good, man. I'd be one hot mama. I'm telling you, I'd be at 11 with the money, just to have the money that this person spent on myself.
Sweetheart, your fan
Telling
base
you.
already wants to have sex with you. You're fine.
No, I'm just saying, I'm just imagining all the money. I mean, getting my nails done once a month, it's expensive. This person had spent a lot of money on their skin to get all the hair removed and, with lasers and, having their lips done, they're probably their cheeks.
But what company are they advertising for?
This is this one right here.
That's fucking Victoria's Secret, right? You know what? I've never fucking looked at a woman from Victoria's Secret and got a hard dick. Ever. Never, ever, ever. They always look like fucking 12-year-old kids. There's nothing, like, I've always thought the Victoria's Secret, since I've entered manhood, every single one of their quote-unquote, their angels has, like, at best a B-cup tits, pushed up as far as they can. They got no ass, they got no thighs, they got
one of my
nothing
sisters,
fun.
I'm not going to say
Nothing
which
for
one.
me.
One of
Fuck
my
'em.
sisters was approached to be in the catalog for Victoria's Secret, but they told her that she needed to have a boob job. So they
Which
do
is really
want,
weird, because the ones of yours
depending
I do
on
know,
what they're selling, they do want, they want, and I love their stores. I used to. I'm never going to shop there again now after this, because if they can't even get a woman to sell women's lingerie, I don't need them. I'll go to Frederick's.
they've been going downhill for over 20 years, and people will deride me like, "Oh, you're just too much of a traditionalist. You're too much of an alpha male. You just don't like companies that are accepting or embrace diversity." And you know what? I don't want them to embrace diversity. I want them to have a fucking specific type they market to. And I would love to see Victoria's Secret actually go towards a more Americanized, womanly market. Ladies with, they have the ability to eat a cheeseburger and not look like they've destroyed their bodies. They, size 6 to size 10 is good. The average size in America, I think, is what, a size 16, size 12, somewhere around there. So they need to kind of get with the program.
Yeah.
Not all of us are chubby chasers, but some of us are special, like me. And I got to say that there are people out there that they want a woman to be womanly. They want her to be able to fill out a bra. And Victoria's Secret just doesn't appeal to me. They're supporting the trans fuck, whatever the fuck his name is. I don't give a shit. You didn't get my money in the first place. I've never given money to you, and I'm so happy to say that. So go ahead, continue your fucking flight into the fucking face of the mountain. And, whenever the crash happens, I'll just be like, I told you so.
Well, I've had a comment left on one of my, I think it was on my Instagram. Maybe it was my TikTok. I don't remember. But I would do some of the pickup lines, and I had this bustier on. Because I do have a lot of cleavage or whatever. And the guy's comment was that he thought I was lovely, but that he prefers peaches over coconuts. I just thought that was hilarious. So, everybody can like whatever they want.
They
which is
are
fine.
huge. Okay. There's a photo where you're looking down at your bed, and at the bottom of the fucking photo, there's boobs. It's like I'm playing the old 1998 game Trespasser, where you're on the island of Isla Nebular, and your fucking little heart tattoo on your tit is your fucking your health indicator. And like I look down at Janet's fucking POV.
I only have one tattoo, and it's on my wrist.
It's huge boobs.
Not as big as some. I've seen people who have them as big as half a watermelon.
It's great.
Like triple.
God bless you, Janet.
Or something. I don't know what you call it, but yeah, or E or F or something, because they do get ginormous. But
I've played with a woman that had G's before, and I thought I was in heaven.
Yeah, I can believe it. Yeah.
I almost sprained my thumb. It would have been a tragic night.
Yeah, it's sad. But this is another thing I wanted to share. It's really sad. But we as a country are in dire straits, especially if you live in a liberal state. okay, where we have liberal judges and we have liberals that are running their towns, where, like what you're seeing right now in Portland, right? The criminals have more rights than the people that pay taxes.
Were we just
that
talking
run
about
businesses.
this? Were we just
What?
talking about this? We were just talking about this.
I know, but I haven't showed you this video or anything yet. This is a father.
Heartbreaker.
Yeah, this is a heartbreaker. This has been out if you've seen it before. But what's sad is that we're losing people like the young woman on the train, you know, to people who keep getting let out this constantly because there's no cash bail or for whatever the reason is. But that is bad. Okay, it's hurting our country. And the sad truth is that innocent people are dying, but because it isn't your innocent kid or your innocent neighbor, you don't care. You're not paying attention. You're not talking about it. We're not fighting for these people, because it could be you one day. It could be your child. It could be your sister. It could be your mom. It could be your grandma. Innocent people being murdered by people that have been let out of jail or arrested and just let right out again, no matter what their crime was committed. And I just want to share this because I think this is important that we see what's happening. And just because it's not in your state or in the town that you live in doesn't mean it's not going to happen in your town. If it's happening there and it's on American soil, it's coming to your town. So I want to share this. So be ready. Here we go.
How many of y'all have kids? I'm just curious. Here's what I need you to do. When I tell you this story, think about your kids. Think about your child coming home from a night out with their friends, laying down, going to sleep, feeling somebody come in the room and wake them and drag her out of bed, naked, forced on her knees with her hands over her head, begging for her life, begging for her hero, her father, me, that couldn't be there. She was 5'3". She weighed 115 pounds. Bang! Dead. Gone. Why? Because Alexander Devontae Dickey, who was arrested 39 goddamn times, 25 felonies, was on the street. How about that? How good are we doing for our family? How good are you doing for your kids? He should have been in jail for over 140 years for all the crimes he committed. You know how much time he spent in prison? A little over 600 days in 10 years. He's only 30 years old. He was committing 2.65 crimes a year since he was 15 years old, but nobody could figure out that he couldn't be rehabilitated. Well, you'd have to put him in prison to see if he could be rehabilitated. Isn't that the idea of prison? But no, my daughter wanted to be a teacher. She finally figured it out 2 weeks before she was executed. And I haven't heard a damn word from Byron Gibson in South Carolina. Not one word. 4 months, no communication. His biggest concern was that he was pissed off about my interview and how I made him look on the Fox News channel with Trey Gowdy. How pathetic is that? That we're letting our 22-year-old kid visiting friends. It's all she ever wanted to do was visit friends. And she literally was executed while on her knees begging for her life. Her name's Logan Federico, not Irina. And you will not forget her. I promise you. You will be sick and tired of my face and my voice until this gets fixed. I will fight until my last breath for my daughter. You need to fight for the rest of our children, the rest of the innocents, and stop protecting the people that keep taking them from us. Please. You have the power. We put you in the power to do what you have to do. We're asking you, we're begging you all to stop this. 39 crimes in 10 years, 25 felonies. Can anybody here explain to me, well, how possible he could be on the street? Possibly be on the street. How is it possible? I could sit down in a room and I could explain the whole process of how it failed, how South Carolina failed, Logan. Okay? How lack of communication. What y'all did, you woke up a beast and you pissed off the wrong daddy. Because I'm going to put it out there. And I'm not going to be quiet until somebody helps. Logan deserves to be heard. Everyone on this panel deserves to be heard. And we will. Trust me. My daughter laid on the floor for 7 hours before somebody in that house recognized that something was wrong. And that career criminal, an hour later, went on a spending spree with her debit card. When they saw his face on a video, they didn't have to do a check. He was arrested so many times, they knew who he was. They knew exactly where to go get him. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic that I'm here today. Thank you for your time.
It's heartbreaking that anyone would lose their daughter at all. But the fact that this person, if he'd been in prison where he belonged, she would still be alive. And that is the sad truth about it. And as you're watching what's going on right now with all this ICE stupid shit, okay, you're seeing cops that just standing there letting people get beaten, you know, and stuff. It's sad, and it doesn't make any sense. Just like I said, all you have to do is look around every state and go to every city, and it's run by Democrat. All the big cities have just been infiltrated because the people have moved out of the city because it got too expensive or it's too much crime or whatever else. And they moved to the rural areas, and most likely they have a conservative person as the sheriff or as their little mayor of their little town or whatever. But as soon as you get close to the cities, they get bluer and bluer, and they're all shitholes. They're all shitholes.
It's just amazing how much they're all shitholes.
It is. And it's proven. All you got to do is look around. Our president flew to California after the fires. Okay. And it wasn't the hoodlums homes that were burnt down. It was rich people's homes. Okay. He goes there and he says, you need to figure out why you don't have water for one, which is common sense, because they don't want water. They want to use it for other things. They use the money for everything but what they get the money for, right? That's what crooked people do, because that's never going to happen. Look what happened in Lahaina in Hawaii. He had so-and-so's cousin was in charge of this, and his brother was in charge of that, and this other person's brother or sister was in charge of that. It was all a bunch of people, family members, all getting big checks to have positions, and none of them knew what the hell they were supposed to do when there was an emergency. That's what happened because of Katrina. The levees were not open because the people abandoned their posts. They didn't do their job, and it started to flood. You know, and a lot of stuff happened because of human error. And it happens all the time because you got lazy slugs that could care less whether it's your mother that gets run over by a bus, or your sister, or your wife gets stabbed to death while she's walking to her car. They don't care because it isn't them. It's not their family. They have walls around their house because they got money. They got money to be able to have the best of the best. And it's sad and disgusting. Well, here's another one I want to share. It's another dad, a totally different situation, but not really. it's all because of these people's point of view that they know better than you do. And then you tell them, they tell you they're going to do this, that, and the other for your kid. But when the money isn't going to come the way they expect it to come, they make changes and don't tell anyone. And who gets screwed? You and I, the taxpayer, because we're at the bottom of the food chain, even though we're expected to pay their bills. But here we go. I don't know if you've seen this one.
Now that you're done jerking each other off with a bunch of trophies and participation certificates, here's the truth. You guys don't care about the disabled kids because my disabled son was deaf. You put him in with a bunch of disruptive kids. There was no sign language interpreter, no instruction for sign language. He came home crying from Bester Elementary School every single day he went there because he got into fights with kids who didn't understand him because he was deaf. He couldn't talk. He couldn't sign. You guys left him there. No child left behind my. You didn't want to give up the funding you get from federal and local, so you didn't allow him to get transferred until I came in and went psychotic.
Mr.
Discrimination.
Porter, would you please refrain from using profanity?
You worthless fucking
Okay.
You tortured my disabled son, and you will answer for it in a court of law. People like you hamstring their abilities to teach children like mine. You're a fucking disgrace. Fuck you. Have a good day.
Fuck you. Have a good day. Love it.
I know. But that's a father who's heartbroken over what happened to his son. His son can only speak sign language. He's deaf. And they put him in a room to be taught each day with nobody that can talk to him. Not a single person. Because not a single person could do sign language. But yet they wouldn't let him transfer to another school where they could do sign language because they'd lose the money that they're getting from the federal government to their school if everybody leaves. So they screw the kid over because they want that money. All these fucking assholes sitting here made that decision for that child. Because it wasn't their child. They don't give a shit. I guarantee you, if any of these people had a disabled kid, their kid ain't going to that school. How much you want to bet if you looked into that? And this has got to stop. We as parents have got to work together somehow, figure out a way to protect our kids and make sure that they're getting what they say they're going to give you. And if you don't get it on day one, you say, fuck you, we're taking our kid somewhere else, and do it. And stand up for our kids, because these people are not going to. They don't care. Actions speak louder than words. If they constantly make excuses why they haven't done it, go somewhere else. Get a second opinion, like I'm always telling people. If your doctor says you have cancer and they want to remove the tumor, get a second opinion, because I don't trust anyone anymore. You know, we have to start taking care of ourselves and do it ourselves, because these people are not going to help you. You've got to stick with your friends. You got to, the people who have been there for you, that's always told you the truth, even when it is shit. You know, when they tell you, you know what, you really fucked up. Or that outfit makes you look like a giant house, or whatever, you know, whatever it is. A person that tells you the truth, even if it sucks, is a person that actually gives a shit about you. Okay. That's the truth. Okay. Sometimes you get bad news because that's all there is. It's bad news. But if someone lies to you constantly, that's not a person you should want to have in your life. You don't want someone who's full of shit. You know, I want people that tell me the truth. I want my friends to be honest. And when they ask my opinion, I'm going to give them my honest opinion. Isn't that what I would want? You know, and this kind of stuff has got to stop. And the only way it's going to stop is if we stop it. That's, like I say constantly, give this administration at least a year to have something come out, and go back and look at all the things they have done. Look how many kids they've saved from trafficking. Look how many drugs they've stopped from coming into over our border. All the things that they have done, instead of bitching and moaning about the few things that they haven't done yet. just that little tiny interview that we got to see with Kash Patel, we're finding out little tidbits. Man, they really are investigating this thing. And I keep telling my friends and relatives that are bitching and moaning, thinking they're framing this young Tyler guy and saying there's no way he could make that shot and stuff like that. I'm like, I told one of my sisters, a 12-year-old that we know could shoot a deer in the eye from a very far distance away with a rifle and then go get it, gut it, skin it, put the meat over the shoulder and leave. 12 years old. So why do you think that so many people out there that are 22 years old are too stupid to be able to make a shot, to be able to shoot a gun for that distance? It's just ridiculous. Why did he do it? That's what we need to know so that we can stop that from happening again. That's the most important thing. Why did that guy try to shoot Trump? Why did that other guy try to shoot Trump? Why did that guy go to Vegas and shoot all those people from that building? We still don't have an answer for that, do we? But look who was president at the time.
Was that 8 years ago or 7 years ago for the Las Vegas shooting?
But the thing is, we have a president right now that's picked all these people to do these jobs. And so far, they've made a couple bumps. They've said things that they probably shouldn't have said, but they're all new at this stuff. And I want to give them a chance. I voted for this president 3 times. Okay. And I'm going to give him the benefit of my doubt because I think he picked each of these people for specific reasons. And Dan Bongino's in there. And I've listened to Dan Bongino go on and on about a lot of things. And my gut tells me I got to trust him. And we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We're not meant to know everything because if we know it, that means the bad guy knows. And I'd rather the bad guys not know. And I find out later, just like everybody else will, and be happy because they got everybody that they're supposed to get and they're going to be prosecuted for it. That's what I want. I think that's way more important than whether or not they happen to get this one group of people right this minute. There's a thousand other things that are going on right now at the same time. And I'd rather them do a good job and make sure that when they do take the criminal to jail and they're going to do a trial, they have everything they need to put him in prison. It was when we send somebody, because everybody said, hurry, 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 hurry. It's not fast enough for me. And then they get him in there and the guy gets off on a technicality because of the mistakes that they made. Then you're going to say, see, they did a terrible job on purpose because they're owned by the Jews. It's going to be the same shit over and over again instead of being patient and waiting and seeing what happens. And that's what I'm trying to be. I'm trying not to be blackpilled. I'm trying to put my faith in what I've been voted for 3 times and let him have the chance to do it. They tried to kill him, so I know he's not one of their puppets, okay? They've tried to kill him multiple times. And I do believe that same people that might be behind this whole thing with Charlie Kirk, that I'm not 100% sure yet, but let the evidence come out. And I trust these people to investigate it and try to get down to the bottom of it. I really do. But we'll find out. So I have to be patient. I have to believe in something. And I believe in Trump. I'm not saying he's God. I don't think he's Jesus Christ. I think he's a man, but I feel he loves this country and he's going to do the best he can with what he has. But he has a buffet of food out in front of him, and he's got to go through all the food to make sure there's no poison in there. Okay. So that's how many things he's working on at one time. And it's nice to actually see a president that sits in the Oval Office and signs executive orders or does whatever and has the press there to show that it's really him and not an auto pen writing on a piece of paper instead of sitting in his basement. Where was all these people that's bitching and moaning about Trump? Hurry, 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 get it done right now. Where were they for 4 years for Biden sleeping in the basement?
Hey, Joe's Atmosphere. How you doing, bud?
Oh, I'm sorry. I've been ignoring my chat because I'm too busy ranting. But, I just wish people would just try to be a little patient a little more patient and give these people a chance. They're doing stuff and we're seeing it. Just like you saw what just happened when I showed that thing to you earlier about what Hegseth is doing, trying to rebuild our military to the pristine super troops that we should have. People that can actually run and climb a ladder or carry a hose or whatever it is and not be out of breath. You know what I mean? They should be in shape. They should be ready for battle at any moment because it could happen. And we can't have a bunch of people that are rolling down the hill because they never went to PT. They don't know how to shoot a gun. They can't load their weapon fast enough. There's lots of things that you're supposed to know. And I want a military that can do their job. Just like I want paramedics that can do their job. I want firemen that can do their jobs because that's what we're paying them for. And if we have to pay them a little more money to keep them in shape, I can afford that. I think it's worth it.
You know what I'd love to see is if we started giving our guys in service gear. If we started actually, like the guys that want to be in Spec Force and, they made it, they are the tier 1 operators. If we just started giving them, steroids, because they're going to get on it anyway. All right. Mm-hmm. So let's fucking have the government. It'll probably be like the lowest tier of steroids, but it's still like it's gear. I want them to have gear.
Okay, and then this other thing that I rant about a lot is the illegals, getting money that they shouldn't get, being bussed and flown in the middle of the night. Remember, we did a bunch of shows about that one senator that was trying to get in there, and we had National Guard that wouldn't let him in the room. He had to fight through there to get in there and see that they were secretly flying illegals on planes, paid for by whoever, who knows, by us, basically, to go into different states in secret, like it was some kind of special ops operation or something. So I do believe that some bad stuff's about to come down because they're trying to stop this administration at all costs. But the fact that they gave them a place to live, food, and jobs, or and medical and dental and eye care and all those things on our dollar, I think it's bullshit, because I feel we shouldn't have one homeless veteran or one veteran that doesn't have access to health care and help that he needs, or she, before we send one dime to anybody else that's not an American. That's bullshit. So I'm going to share this because this is the kind of stuff that I think my money should go for. My taxes go to pay for these people who served our country, to keep me free, to be able to bear arms, to be able to say the Pledge of Allegiance, all these things. These people are where I want my money to go. And I have listened to many, many of these young men and older men fighting to get the benefits they need because they had PTSD after being over there fighting, or they got shot, or they got injured in their jobs, and they're having to fight every day to try to get the medical care that they need. And it shouldn't be this way. Shouldn't be that our soldiers are having to fight our government to get the treatment they deserve, that they served to get. It's disgusting, but yet they'll sneak around to give money and social security numbers and shit to illegals simply because votes make money for them. So here we go. I'm going to play this.
The same person and have the same individual manage my goddamn meds. I've been off all my medications for 2 years. I've been doing it on my own, man. I'm just in white knuckle. I'm gripping. Jesus, I'm so tired of it. It's not a lot to ask. I just want to be able to talk to the same person and not continue to have to retell these fucking stories that torment me. I fucking get it now. I really do. I just want some continuity of fucking care.
If that's an honest video, that guy's at the bottom.
He is.
He's at that spot where, like, He's got nowhere else to turn. I'm making a video for TikTok, and I'm gonna fucking make a fool of myself. But he's got nowhere else to go, and more than likely, his family doesn't have a fucking.
Well, the sad truth is, when you have a soldier that's got PTSD, okay, and their doctor prescribes them, a vape with pot in it, or stuff to help them sleep, and then stuff to help them stay awake, and stuff like that, while they're shuffling stuff around to get him to be able to see a psychiatrist. Okay, then he gets in. Okay, after taking medicine for, smoking pot, doing all this stuff for 2 years, finally gets a psychiatrist. They go in, they start having their meetings once a week or whatever. Sometimes it's once a month, which is really shitty because they're so backed up. They won't hire more people and stuff. And that I understand what this poor guy is going through, because they go in and they have to tell them all these things, what they saw, the bodies blown apart. Okay, I'll tell you one story. A person I know that was in the military, young, 19-year-old soldier, okay, with another 19-year-old or 18-year-old soldier, and they're at the front gates in a makeshift camp in the middle of a country over there. They hate us, okay? They want us dead. A Muslim country, and they got fences that they put up and tents and stuff. They don't even have buildings. This is what they're in. So these two people are at this one gate on this side of the thing, and there's kids running around, and here comes someone off in the distance, and they can see them. They're riding a bicycle, coming towards them, and they're told by their commanding officer to be on the ready, because we don't know what they're doing or why they're coming. So they're watching, and they're ready with their guns ready to defend the base, keep them from coming in there. But they also see kids playing, running around in the road and stuff in front of the camp. And they're worried about the kids, who's this person? Are they going to blow themselves up? Are they going to come over here and kill us? Or, what's going to happen? They're thinking of this because they've seen tons of who knows what there, right? Well, then the guy doesn't even get, he's about to the corner of their fencing, and something happens, and he almost falls off the bike, and then he explodes. He had like a backpack on that exploded. Well, body parts go everywhere, and the bike falls to the ground. Here comes all these people rushing to get the bicycle. They're fighting over the bicycle. They're not even worried that this person just got blown to smithereens and there's just blood and guts and goo all over the bike. They just want the bike, because getting a bike is very hard to get a bike out in the middle of the desert where there's no grocery stores. There's nothing, it's pitiful. And that these young people never seen anything like that. That's what they're seeing now on a daily basis, or being blown up because someone rides by on a bicycle or walks up to a woman or a young child, and they explode, and they have their guts and stuff all over them and things like that. And then they get back here and they're trying to deal with it, and they have a job, but then they have nightmares, so they're not sleeping very good. Lots of other things that go along with it. And then they try to call the hotline to talk to someone. They need someone just to listen to them, because they're having an episode, and they can't get anyone to answer the phone. So what do? They kill themselves because they can't deal with it anymore. Not one of our soldiers should be going through this. All that money that we wasted, millions and millions and millions of dollars, that they didn't want to go to this soldier to get the meds he needed, or to have a psychiatrist that was there every week that he's already talked to, so he doesn't have to tell the same story, so he can progress forward instead of keep going back to the beginning over and over and over again. And then we wonder why they commit suicide. Oh, what a mental problem. He killed himself because he can't get the help that he needs, that we promised that he was going to get, or she. And that's where it sucks. This is what pisses me off. One of the most that pisses me off so much about the illegals getting all this free shit when they didn't put one dime into this country. They didn't go and sacrifice a limb or their mental stability to protect our country because our government said, oh, you have to go over there and do this, or you have to do that, and you have to do this. And they did it. They served their country for their 4 years, 6 years, whatever it was. And now all they want is to be able to live their life and try to get on with it. And he can't talk to anybody because everyone looks at him like he's nuts. You're crazy. You're a psycho. So what do you do? He drinks, does drugs, whatever he has to survive one day at a time without that money that we need that's being wasted on these fucking illegals. And then you got ICE being attacked. You got all these nut cases that are being paid, just like we saw earlier, by people that hate this country, that want to tear our country down for what it stands for. And you got mayors and stuff that won't let the police officers protect the people in their town because our government is trying to get these illegal people that are taking this guy's money that he should be getting and giving it to the illegal people. The illegals are worth more. So why don't we do this? Open their doors. Every person at these rallies and stuff fighting the ICE people, find out where they live and get an illegal and take them to their house. And they have to bathe them, clothe them, feed them, and take care of them and not let them commit crimes. Make them responsible for these people that they say they care so much about that they're willing to kill a cop or a person that's walking down the street because they happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, or to destroy their business so that we can keep these Mexicans or Somalis or people from Taiwan or Russia or wherever they're from, because they're not just from Mexico. Okay. They're coming over the Mexican border because that's what they have to go through to get to our country, or by boat, wherever they're coming from. But they're coming from all over the world, not just Mexico. So that's another thing of the saying, all these Hispanics that we hate, brown-skinned people. Some of them are from Ukraine. Some of them are from Russia. And that doesn't mean they're good. They're still illegal. They don't belong here unless they come here the right way. And we have rules to do that. But they don't want to do that because they're here for nefarious reasons. Any person that doesn't take the steps to become a citizen isn't here to help our country.
No.
Person that comes here that doesn't want to learn the language and doesn't want to assimilate in America as an American citizen isn't here to help our country. They're here to take from it. That's what they're here for. So I don't want them here. And I voted for Trump to get rid of these people because I want this man to get the money he needs so he can get better or try to get better. Now, I don't know if he can be helped, but look at him. He's begging for help. We have thousands of these men killing themselves and women every single day, all because we abandoned them. We are not giving them what we promised them. And I think it's terrible. We should be ashamed. And it's part of our fault. It's our fault too, because we're not making sure our government follows through to take care of our veterans. And we should.
Yeah, I need to step away for a bit.
Okay, let's go ahead. I'm talking. I'm doing all the talking anyways. I'm really sorry, but I talked to you about this a little bit before we started, and this stuff is important to me, and I wish more people cared. I really do. I wish more people gave a shit about what these people have done. You may not think that they've done anything because they had to go to Saudi Arabia or they went to Iran or Iraq or wherever it was they went. I don't know why they had to go there. I'm not a government official. Okay. But they dressed in a United States military uniform and went over there to do something because it was supposed to help our government, period, for whatever the reason is. I don't care. All I care about is that they come back to our country, that they get what they deserve, period. I don't care what branch of the service, and I don't care whether they're black, they're white, they're Hispanic, or whatever their background is. I don't give a shit. If they're a man or a woman, if they served our country, they deserve to be treated with respect and to get the medical benefits or whatever it is that we promised them when they signed that dotted line and they served, they should get it, period. before an illegal citizen gets one freaking dime. That's how I feel. So I can't help it. But I'm done. I'll get off of this high horse for a minute. But that was just another one of the things that I just think it's horrible that that we're in this position, and we shouldn't be. All because they wanted more votes, or what? I don't know. Until one of them comes forward and starts telling us stuff, how are we supposed to know? But I do believe that this administration is doing a lot of the things that they said they were going to do to try to help us, clear up our country, clean our country up. But here's one of the things I wanted to share is it's a good thing. And it's showing another part that is happening, that is being done. And it's strategically being done. And we can't know about every one of these things. These have to be done with intel. And this is another boat carrying narcotics to try to come to our country and sell them. Fentanyl, whatever else it is. And our Secretary of War, or whatever you want to call it, is doing their job on multiple levels. He's trying to clean up our military, get them back in good physical condition. They fired a bunch of them, ones that were not wearing the clothes that they should be wearing for their gender, things like that. A lot of them lost their jobs, the upper ones, a lot of the upper people. I don't have that list. I looked trying to find it, but I just couldn't find it. I couldn't find anything, but I heard them talking about it on the news. But I wanted to share this. I think this is the third boat that they've taken out. And what's funny about it is the fact that we've taken out one. Okay, maybe that was a fluke that they found that one boat filled with drugs, but then another one, and the government where they're coming from, the country they're coming from, hasn't said shit about it. So that they're probably happy to be getting rid of the drugs themselves. They just don't have the means that we have, because we have very good technology in our military. So I just wanted to share this because I think this is great to actually see our people being successful, because we have leaders that give a shit about keeping this from coming to our country. That looks pretty good to me. It's nice to see that they're not coming here. They're not bringing whatever was on that boat to our country and saving lives. Even though I don't do drugs, I don't hang with people that do drugs, but I hope that everybody that is addicted to drugs can get help. And maybe if we can stop the drugs from coming, that more and more people will be able to get help, because they're going to have a hard time getting a hold of it. But this is saving lives right here. By what they just did, saved lives. And I believe that with my soul. And I'm thankful that we have a government right now that cares enough to get rid of these people and get rid of these drugs. Because if they were on that boat, I don't think they lived. So I think they're gone. But I'm proud that I have a government that cares enough about me and my family to stop those drugs from coming here. Okay, I think this is let's see. Okay, here's another one. That's good. I'm sorry, I got a dry spot in my throat. I'm really sorry about it. But I think this is it. Yeah, here we go. I just love this guy. I think he's doing a great job, even though I hear a lot of people say, oh, he's drunk today. I haven't seen him once on camera or in the Oval Office or anything in any of the videos I've seen where he seemed drunk. And I've seen Nancy Pelosi that way quite a few times. So I'm proud of him. I think he's doing a great job. But here we go. This is his speech.
With physical fitness and appearance. If the Secretary of War can do regular hard PT, so can every member of our joint force. Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon and leading commands around the country and the world. It's a bad look. It is bad, and it's not who we are. So whether you're an airborne ranger or a chairborne ranger, a brand new private or a 4-star general, you need to meet the height and weight standards and pass your PT test. And as the chairman said, yes, there is no PT test. But today, at my direction, every member of the Joint Force at every rank is required to take a PT test twice a year, as well as meet height and weight requirements twice a year, every year of service. Also today, at my direction, every warrior across our Joint Force is required to do PT every duty day. Should be common sense. I mean, most units do that already.
Awesome. I think this is great. I am proud to see someone who gives a crap about our military again, that wants to see us be #1 in the world, to have the best and the brightest in our military, to protect us from invasion and to keep our borders strong. I think it's wonderful. And to have the best technology so we don't have to have people out there, risking their lives. I think it's great. I'm very proud of it. And it's the things like this that are happening that you're not seeing anybody talking about to boost the fact that we are winning. We are doing better. We have a country that's starting to come together again for the people and clean up the mess that all these past administrations have been doing. And we just have to be patient. We are seeing things happening, so that should be better than just sitting around bitching and moaning when it's starting to change. And we should talk about it. We should share it. We should let people know this is what's happening and things are getting better. So I just think it's important that we share that. But here's another thing that I thought was good. Give me a second. I'm trying to find it because it was good news. And I've got a few things that are good because good things are happening. And I think it's important that we don't just dwell on the riots and all the idiots in the streets that are throwing Molotov cocktails and just doing all this stupid shit to hurt each other when there's no reason for it. But, can't always have everything we want. But let's see, is this it? No, damn it. Sorry, just give me a second. I'm sorry. Really trying to find it. This one's not too bad. I'll play this one. It's not the one I was looking for, but I thought this was really good. And I really like Stephen Miller. I think he's doing a really good job. And I like it pissed off a lot of people when he said some of the things he's about to say. And he's talking about Memphis. Okay. So basically what Trump said he wanted to do by going in and cleaning up certain cities, the crime-ridden cities that are overrun. And if you go and look at the list, I don't have the list of all of them lined up, but if you get online and Google the cities where Trump has sent troops in, right, to help to work with ICE and to work with the mayors and the police forces and stuff, they're all Democrat cities, every single one of them. And I hope and pray that people are paying attention to learn that this is what you get when you put people in office that only care about themselves and what their agenda is and not what the people want for their cities and towns. Then you're going to get that's what you're going to get. So the next time you go vote, try to vote for somebody that you've spoken to or you've researched and looked into. Don't vote for someone because they have an R next to their name or a D next to their name. Don't let that be the reason why you vote for them. Stop voting down ballot. We got to stop doing that. We got to start voting for people because actions speak louder than words. If they do something that's good for us, then keep them in office. But if they don't do shit, get rid of them. Recall them. Start with someone new. Make these people earn their paychecks. That's what we're for. We're their boss. We're the ones putting them in office. So here we go. It's not very long. It's about 2 minutes.
To the Memphis Police Department, to the officers that I see sitting in front of me, we are about to provide you with a level of support you cannot even imagine. This isn't just a task force. This is a all of government unlimited support operation. ATF, DEA, FBI, ICE, Department of War, every resource we have. And they're not going to be sitting behind a desk at a keyboard. We are sending in real cops with guns and badges to go out with you on the street every single night making arrests. These are people who have taken down drug cartels, kingpins, the worst criminal offenders in the United States, standing with you shoulder to shoulder to shoulder. All we ask from you is to show up at roll call every single night with your brothers and sisters in the federal government and to go out and get the criminals off the street. And if you do that, I pledge to you, we will liberate this city from the criminal element that has plagued it for generations. This is not just a strategy shift. This is an attitude shift. We are not going to live in an environment anywhere where there is a street that belongs to a criminal, where there is a neighborhood that belongs to a gang, where there is any physical space anywhere that belongs to anyone other than the law-abiding citizens and families of Memphis. The idea that there is a square inch of block in this city where a citizen doesn't feel safe is unacceptable. This is Memphis. This is the United States of America, and all that bullshit is done. It's over. It's finished.
Yay. I agree. I think it's great. And I hope that they're successful, because I'm hoping that when the people of the cities that they're sending these people in see the difference between like a city that's cleaned up compared to what they had already, and who did it and who fought against it. And they remember that when they go to the polls. But what scares me is that they're just going to keep voting for the same dumbass simply because they don't like the way Trump talks, or they don't like the way this person dresses, or whatever dumbass reason, instead of what they did for you. That's what you should remember. And God, I just want us to learn from our mistakes. But okay, so I wanted to show you this. This person was arrested in Portland. Nick Sorter, I think some of you might know who that is, was over Antifa. So he got arrested, and I'm going to show you that. This is him getting it.
Whoa.
He is a journalist, basically, independent journalist, and he was being harassed by Antifa, but instead of arresting the Antifa people, they arrested him.
Universal precaution. We're gonna have a conversation about a bigger picture here. Shit's about to go down old school, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. See, people around here don't realize they better pray to God than
Okay, so that happened, and then this happened because of it. So I'm going to show you the next one. So after he got arrested, this happened. And this is why I wanted to play them one after the other, because this is really cool that these people are paying attention. And as long as we talk and share and send it to the right people will read it. So here we go. It says, in response to my wrongful arrest in Portland, President Trump has ordered his staff to review federal aid to be cut in the city, per Caroline Levitt. So here we go. Here she is speaking.
Just last night, we saw an extremely troubling incident where conservative journalist Nick Sorter was captured on video being taken into custody by the Portland police after he was ambushed by Antifa and was defending himself from these assaults. But instead of arresting these violent mob members night after night after night who are ravaging this community, the police arrested a journalist who was there trying to document the chaos, and everyone in this room should be extremely concerned about that. The Department of Justice spoke with that journalist this morning, and they will be launching a full investigation into his arrest. This incident is part of a troubling trend in Portland where left-wing mobs believe they get to decide who can visit and live in their city. It is not their city. It is the American people's city, and President Trump is going to restore that. I just spoke with the president about this, and he has directed his team here at the White House to begin reviewing aid that can potentially be cut in Portland. We will not fund states that allow anarchy. There will also be an additional surge of federal resources to Portland immediately, including enhanced CBP and ICE resources. Law and order will prevail, and President Trump will make sure of it. With that, I'll take.
Awesome. So they are trying. They are trying to do this is in a legal manner, but something that's strategic enough that it works. Okay. The thing that bothers me is, like I've said many times too, is that once they arrest these people, somebody's waiting on them to get them a lawyer and bail them out. So we've got to find out where the money is going. That's why I think is one of the reasons why Trump signed an executive order to make ANTIFA a domestic terrorist organization. So now that that's on there and it's legal, anyone who funds them is breaking the law, right? So now they can go after the money. So we've got to just be patient and let these people do the best they can to collect the evidence and do it the legal way, because that way we can make a change. We can't do anything if we just go in there and bulldoze the place. You see what I mean? Because that's what they did. That's what they've been doing to us all this time. It's just using a bulldozer and running over the people they don't want in the way. Not legally. Look what happened January 6th, right? So we just have to let this administration unfold and unpack or whatever, all this stuff, and see what happens, because I got to trust them. I got to trust them to bring about, whatever is supposed to happen, and have it happen the way it's supposed to happen through this administration. So, okay, well, here's another thing. It's from Jesse Waters that I think is pretty good. I thought maybe you guys might want to listen to it. So here we go. Oops, the volume's off. Uh-oh. Damn it. Hold on. I gotta stop sharing it. Okay. I paused it. Darn it. I did that last time to where I thought it was playing and it wasn't. So let me redo that again. Dang. You'd think I know what I'm doing after one of these days. But here we go. I think this is it. Now we got it.
Democrats just threw a shutdown party. Hakeem hosted it. Everybody on the Hill got an invite. They filmed it. Thank God they filmed it. Raskin showed up with a wingman and was like, "Is this it?"
He just texted me. Oh, I think we're on.
Hey,
All right,
there we go.
good to see you. Hear us now?
Hello, Maxwell. Hello, Hakeem.
Hey.
Thank you,
Thank you for joining. It's all you. And we're speaking live to the American people over the next 24 hours or so.
Hibbs tried pulling off a Spartacus with a 24-hour shutdown live stream. But he couldn't talk that long, so he tagged other people in. The problem? No one could hear.
You can't hear me? I just wanted to say we are here this morning.
I can't hear anything. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Troy. I can hear you. And we're going to get that audio fixed.
Oh, Don, we can't hear you.
Hi, Congresswoman.
Hi, Don.
I just did not have my mic plugged in.
Once everybody was in the door and they could hear each other, Grandma dug into her purse and passed around sweets.
Jill was kind enough to bring some treats as we prepare to
So
celebrate
there's tricks
Halloween.
and there's treats. Yes.
And a letter of pineapple. Oh my God.
Yes.
You can pull or you can choose, but we've got everything. Gummy pineapple. That's a
White rabbit.
That's a wasabi white rabbit.
Wasabi white rabbit.
Not everybody was able to get some wasabi white rabbit. Swalwell showed up. He traded Fang Fang in for a new boo thing and wanted to know, yo, where's MAGA at?
You got me? Am I here? I'm on here.
Hey, AB, what's happening?
Hey, Eric, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
I'm doing okay, all things considering. You know, I've been at the Capitol today trying to figure out what's going on with this shutdown.
Well, I'll tell you who you didn't see there.
Who I didn't see?
You didn't see a damn Republican.
Not a damn one.
In America, there are 40 million registered Democrats. Guess how many were watching Hakeem's live stream? 36. And one of those 36 was us. Not everyone showed. Shri did his own thing.
Hi, friends. I'm getting ready to do a telephone town hall on the government shutdown and healthcare consequences. Join me at 855-905-3294. Thanks.
They didn't show up to Hakeem's party or call into Shri's after-hours hotline because they were all at a rager with Bernie.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us for what I think will be not only an interesting discussion, but something of enormous consequence. Here's the bottom line. In a few hours, tonight at midnight, it is very likely that the United States government is going to shut down.
Bernie's video had 100,000 viewers, while Hips just had a few dozen. Pocahontas showed up to the powwow. Van Hollen came through with Margs. And AOC was even pre-gaming with Burn Dog in the park.
Hey, everybody. I was walking here in Washington, D.C., and who did I bump into? One of my favorite members of the United States Congress, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
One of my favorite senators.
A million Democrats watched Bernie and AOC. Bottom line, the country's like, Hakeem who? Almost half the country's never heard of Hakeem Jeffries. And the ones that have heard of him think he wears a sombrero. So now Hakeem's speaking Spanish.
This year, they've done nothing. Zero. Stingy with De Niro.
DJ Jazzy Jeffries is just Kamala 2.0. The more he talks, the less people like him. Aunt Nancy was running out of gas like Sleepy Joe, so she force-fed him to the party and then talked trash about him behind his back. Nancy says Hips has a big head. And when the cameras are on, though, Nancy says Hips don't lie.
Democrats are united. Would you say?
I think so.
We were in our caucus just so proud of our leader, Hakeem Jeffries, going in there making the case for the people.
She sounds like Jill Biden when she told Joe he did a good job at the debate. Remember, we're so proud of you. You knew all the facts. The party elders can barely keep it together, and Democrats are tired of respecting their elders. Boomers like Schumer are shutting down the government because millennials like AOC are jerking him around like he's on a leash.
They're negotiating with a Representative Ocasio-Cortez because she's nipping at his heels. And, so the American people are being held hostage by Chuck Schumer.
Oh, wait, I gotta, Bruce, are you still here? Are you about to go to bed? Or did you already go to sleep? Just wanted to give you the chance to step down. Well, he sent me a message saying that he was he had to go to bed. So I was just letting you guys know. But yeah, this is hilarious. I just think it's great.
There's poll numbers.
Schumer's on thin ice, and the base has never heard of Hakeem. Bernie and AOC are about to take the party over. And they better make a move because everyone's moving to Trump's party. The White House was live streaming too. Clips of Democrats saying we can't shut down the government on loop. Hundreds of thousands watched. The White House says we're absolutely smoking them, for lack of a better term. Trump put Chuck in a hot dog bun and gave Hakeem a sombrero. And Democrats are posting cat videos like the internet just got invented.
Democrat kiddies want you to have health care. Republican kiddies do not.
Republican kiddies control the Senate, House, and the White House, so they're using that to cut your health care and give money to billionaires.
We were posting cat videos in 1999. What are they doing? Trump's blasting mariachi music in the press room.
They were playing that mariachi music as well over the loudspeakers for all the press that was coming in and out of the White House today inside the press briefing room. Instead of backing off or apologizing for it, they're leaning into it. They simply don't care about that criticism.
CNN's waking up and realizing they don't matter. No one cares what CNN says anymore about anything. No one's watching them.
Fair play. It's the
And
way
what's
I'm looking at
racist
it.
about mariachi music? It's Hispanic Heritage Month. No one's offended, only tampon.
This is really dangerous and it's really hard. And I cannot express to you the concern and the absolute bafflement and fear of our European allies asking me, is this stuff really going on?
Our European allies are calling Trump daddy. King Charles just hosted a slumber party at Windsor Castle. And what's dangerous about a joke? Calling us fascists and shooting us? That's dangerous. A little less dangerous, but still a big problemo, spending billions of dollars on health care for illegals. A couple of Democrats admitted that's what they're doing. The others keep claiming it's a lie. Maybe this will jog their memory.
Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants.
I saw Biden's hand go up. This is how
Oh, my
CNN covered
God.
it in 2019. Democrats want to offer free health care to undocumented immigrants. And this is how CNN's covering it today. Fact check. Trump falsely claims Democrats want to give free health care to illegal aliens in government shutdown battle. Illegal aliens get free health care. Biden made
Yeah.
sure of it. It's not even debatable. Well, I guess only on CNN.
People who are in the country illegally cannot get these
Correct.
subsidies
Sure
that we're
they can.
talking about.
Sure they can.
No, they can't.
No,
Sure
they
they
can't.
can't.
It's
They-
their
when they-
federal law,
Who
Scott,
do
as
you
know,
think?
but
Who do
Scott,
you think pays when they go to the emergency room? It's the Medicaid
Scott,
emergency
go into the
program. They also
Obamacare
can't register to
subsidies.
vote, but we just found one in Maryland who was running the Des Moines
one.
school system.
Oh my God, one.
I mean, I'm telling you, you guys say these things can't happen,
I'm
and
just
then they
saying,
happen.
Scott.
Democrats are throwing shutdown parties and then lying about why they shut it down. Trump tried to give him a deal and a hat, and they said no. Not so young Sheldon accidentally showed his cards. Watch.
We'd rather negotiate with you after you've given away your leverage.
This has to be the dumbest slate of Democrats Washington has ever seen. The Art of War says you never attack from a position of weakness. And the Democrats have never been this weak. They have no leverage, no leadership, and no air cover. And they're asking Donald Trump, who ran and won on fighting illegal immigration, to give $200 billion of free health care to illegal immigrants. That's like Democrats shutting down the government until Reagan agrees to surrender to the Soviets. Not going to happen. As the White House says, it's almost Friday.
Oh my God, I just love that. I thought it was great. I really like Jesse. I think he's really, really funny, and I'm really liking some of the things that he does.
I'm more of a fan of Greg Gutfeld. I'll
Yeah, I
take
like
Greg.
him too, but I don't have anything about him talking about this. I asked you earlier if you're ready to go to bed.
Getting close to it, but I had to
Okay,
do
well,
a stretch.
you can leave anytime you need to. I'm almost finished. I'm almost through with everything I had pulled out, but some of these are just really good, and I wanted to share. But this is another really good little tidbit of information. Here we go. I'll bring it up for you.
Knowing what we know now about the link in a certain percentage of especially young men between weed use and violent psychosis and other mental illness, why would we encourage this at any level in our society?
We shouldn't. I consider cannabis to be the most dangerous drug in America right now, by the way, and I'm not trying to slide opioids here, but consider that SAMHSA, the Agency on Drug Abuse, which reported 7.6 million people going to ERs last year from drugs, puts now cannabis ahead of opioids, 12% cannabis, 11% opioids. And that's because of what you just said, because people have underlying mental health disorders and they don't even know it. They're suffering from anxiety, depression, maybe a small percentage schizophrenia. The first episode of psychosis that you have is accelerated, unfortunately, if you're a regular pot user or cannabis user. And again, the anxiety disorder can come out from excess cannabis use. And all of that is getting worse and worse. And then the gummies are sitting around and kids end up taking them. And over 20,000 calls to drug abuse hotlines last year, 80% kids. Why would anybody want that? Because they don't realize how bad this is. And cannabis also affects your heart. And cannabis also interrupts your sleep. And cannabis has not been proven to have absolute medical indication. So,
well, look at those packages. Does that look like that it's not good for you? This looks just like a snack bag for a kid. And what happens to somebody who eats 5 or 6 of these? See, it's ridiculous. I hate gummies. I think gummy vitamins, any gummies should be outlawed because they look like candy. They look like what are those little bears? You know, those little bears. Yeah, gummy bears. This is dangerous. These look just like snack bags, and these could kill a kid. It's ridiculous. I wish they didn't have anything like that.
It's about education, and that's what we're doing here.
So they're trying to get people to understand that this kind of stuff is. If you got a parent that's chewing gummies all day and smoking on their little vape or whatever, or smoking their weed, and they fall asleep and they leave their little bag open and their kid eats it, it's just not good. It's just not good. I voted in my state for medical marijuana use because I have friends that have gone through chemotherapy and stuff like that, and it is proven to help people to sleep better. They eat more, all these different things for somebody who is going through chemotherapy and they need it. But this other thing I thought was really good, and I wanted to share it, is because it was something I didn't know. Hadn't heard about it, but that it did happen. Yeah, this is it. And I think this is awesome. This is somebody, his name is Jake Lang, and he was one of the January 6ers. He filed a massive lawsuit against the FBI and Christopher Wray for lying about embedding 300 agents in the crowd. But I didn't know if anybody else had heard about it.
2.5 years ago, Christopher Wray lied to a congressional panel
January
saying...
6th. Did I misunderstand you? I thought that's what you said. Well, I referred very specifically to undercover agents. Yeah. And so are you acknowledging then there were undercover agents? As I sit here right now, I do not believe there were undercover agents on scene. Any FBI agents. Did you have
274 FBI agents that were present and instigating the crowd here on January 6th. And what were the repercussions of his lie? 4 years and 6 days of political prison torture. I spent, and thousands of Americans lost years of their lives, their businesses, their families had birthdays, people died, and they weren't able to go to their funeral. This was an egregious, unconstitutional abridgment. Christopher Wray, the FBI, you're going to have to pay for your lies. We have filed a multi-million-dollar massive lawsuit against the FBI for this due process violation and this obfuscation of clearly exculpatory evidence. We're coming for everything you took from us.
Awesome. I think that's great. I hope that they sue the shit out of them. And I think I said that before, that if there was any way that if they can get enough evidence, any of this stuff, let's say that they prosecute a couple of them on these smaller charges, but they're able to collect other stuff to go along with it, that they could all be sued in civil court for, damaging cities and towns, or whatever happened with cheating at the polls, or any of these other things, and these people knew about it. They should be able to be sued. We should be able to sue them. a state should be able to sue somebody that did something knowing they were damaging it. You know what I mean? I think that we should have the right to do that. At least I hope we would. But here's another good article that I saw that came across my timeline. And it was Caroline Levitt again. But here, I'm going to play this one. Here we go.
We are now in day 3 of the Democrat-led government shutdown. The Democrats continue to recklessly hold the American people hostage over their demands to give illegal aliens free health care. Republicans are fully unified behind passing nonpartisan clean funding bill, the exact same bill that Democrats approved back in March to reopen the federal government. But those same Senate Democrats are now voting against this clean funding bill and keeping the people's government closed. I understand Democrats will have an opportunity very shortly here to change course, and we hope that they will. There are significant personal impacts on millions of Americans as a result of this current government shutdown. The 1.3 million men and women of America's Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, and Space Force who serve honorably and put their lives on the line to defend us all are not being paid. Military families are already seeking out food assistance because of financial anxiety caused by this Democrat shutdown. According to new reporting from the Military Times, staff members at the Armed Services YMCA food pantry distribution location near Fort Hood in Texas found a line of military families stretched around the side of the building yesterday at 5 in the morning. According to the staff who work there, that is, quote, not happened ever. They've already had a 34% increase this week over past weeks. President Trump and Republicans fundamentally believe we have a sacred responsibility to protect and provide for our military families with the resources they need to thrive. If Democrats believe in this very simple premise too, they should end this shutdown immediately. Unfortunately, the severe impacts of the Democrat shutdown extend beyond our troops. Nearly 7 million mothers, infants, and low-income families who rely on government-run food assistance will be in jeopardy if the WIC program runs out of money in the weeks ahead. The more than 13,000 air traffic controllers who ensure that Americans fly safely in airports across the country are currently working without pay. The National Flood Insurance Program is in danger of lapsing, which could leave families without necessary help if a disaster strikes, and we are in the middle of hurricane season. Critical services offered at Social Security field offices are reduced for senior citizens and disabled Americans. Helpful transition assistance programs are not being provided for veterans who fought to defend our country and are now trying to re-enter civilian life. The economic consequences of this shutdown are piling up every day. Policymakers, markets, and even the Federal Reserve are flying blind at a key juncture because BLS and BEA data are on hold until the government reopens. Democrats shutting down the federal government to give health care to illegal aliens could lead to lower growth and higher unemployment rates for Americans. According to a new memo from the Council of Economic Advisors, the U.S. economy could lose $15 billion of gross domestic product each week. Every single week, the Democrat shutdown extends, with a month-long shutdown leading to an additional 43,000 unemployed people. Small businesses are likely to encounter delays in receiving federal loans. Mortgage applications will likely shrink. And just this morning, Business Roundtable, an association of more than 200 CEOs of Americans' leading companies representing every sector of the U.S. economy, put out a statement urging Congress to pass the clean CR that will once again come before them in the Senate floor in just a few moments. Quote, a fully functioning government is essential for American businesses, workers, and consumers, while policymakers continue working on a full year funding package and other pressing issues. Again, that is a quote from the Business Roundtable. What's clear is that the Democrats' actions account to an intentional sabotage of our country and our people by shutting down our government. This madness must end. President Trump and Republicans are calling on Democrats to reopen the government immediately on behalf of the American public. All we need are 5 Democrat senators to do the right thing and to stop this shutdown. Call your Democrat senator and tell them to vote yes to reopen the government. On another matter, despite the Democrat shutdown, President Trump's efforts to make America safe again continue. President Trump believes that American cities should be the safest places on earth, and he is committed to making this a reality. We've already seen that President Trump successfully made DC safe again in only a few weeks. That same crime crackdown will continue to happen in cities across the country and is happening in Portland, Oregon. President Trump will end the radical left's reign of terror in Portland once and for all.
Let's go ahead and get more reaction now
Awesome.
from the White House to the Hamas.
I thought that was great. The thing is, it was informative. I like the fact that she had listed things, real things about our military not being able to get paid and all those type of things. I think it's important that they did that. They shared it, because that's one thing I have seen is that I feel like the troops really, most of them really like this administration and where it's headed. So that's one thing I wanted to share. But let's see, I had a couple other things. Let's see, trying to make sure I pull up the right things. This was one of the ones I wanted to share. I thought it was very, very good. Here we go.
We are following some major breaking news out of Gaza, where Hamas has just announced that they will release all of the remaining Israeli hostages, both living and dead. I've got the statement right here in front of me. I'm going to read it to you. We just got this in. In order to achieve a cessation of hostilities and a complete withdrawal from the Gaza Strip, the movement announces its agreement to release all Israeli prisoners, both living and dead, according to the exchange formula contained in President Trump's proposal, provided the field conditions for the exchange are met. In this context, the movement affirms its readiness to immediately enter into negotiations through the mediators to discuss the details of this agreement. So again, that is Hamas saying that it will now release all of the Israelis that remain in captivity, both living and dead. That is part and parcel to the proposal that President Trump had laid out in order to create the conditions for a ceasefire in this longstanding conflict. We are now about a week away from the anniversary of October 7th. The president had given Hamas the deadline of Sunday at 6 p.m. Washington time. Clearly, this is coming in far before that deadline. I want to bring in now the New York Times' Peter Baker, our political analyst, as well as our senior White House correspondent, Vaughn Hilliard. And Peter, just react for a moment to Hamas essentially acquiescing here.
Yeah, on the surface, at first, certainly it looks like a very promising development. They're saying that they welcome Trump's peace plan, that they want to find a way to basically meet its conditions. Now, the devil is going to be in the details. It says it's going to negotiate details, and we've seen moments before where it looked like there were moments of progress, and then the details, bollocks things up. For instance, they do say that they want to agree to surrender control of Gaza to a Palestinian independent body. Well, that's not exactly what President Trump proposed. He proposed a body that he would actually chair with other notable figures like Tony Blair, the former British Prime Minister. So it's not quite clear whether Hamas is agreeing to what President Trump stipulated on that part of the plan, or whether they have some other ideas in mind and whether that could be negotiated. But on the whole, it's very promising. Our reporting from the ground in Gaza has shown there's a great impatience on the part of Gazans to get this war over. They were pressuring Hamas to come to the table and find a way to accept Trump's peace plan, that they need to move on beyond this war to begin reconstruction and begin taking care of the people who have been suffering so much over these last couple of years.
And their demands had been echoed by virtually the entire Arab League. And Vaughn, I know this news is just breaking. Are you hearing word from the White House about their reaction?
We're actually waiting for the White House. I am told by one source, though, that Qatar and Egypt, who have been working as intermediaries, that they transmitted this message from Hamas to the White House here. And in the statement, it says that the movement affirms its readiness to immediately enter into negotiations through the mediators to discuss the details of this agreement. Of course, earlier this week, Bibi Netanyahu and President Trump made clear that it would be a 72-hour window in which Hamas has to turn over the remaining hostages here. But I think Peter's absolutely right. It's in those details here about what does the actual control over the Gaza Strip look like here going forward, because Hamas seems to, at the end of its statement, indicate that they will be a part of conversations about the future of the Palestinian state. and will contribute to it with full responsibility. That's a little different than what President Trump had suggested, that Hamas would have an option, either one, to leave Gaza and find safe refuge elsewhere, or to effectively disarm and seek amnesty in Gaza here. And so I think that there's those questions, but let's be clear, this is a big deal and a big step in the direction toward ending this war. Obviously, having prisoners from both sides, including the Israeli hostages, returned here. And it started 1 week ago over at the UN General Assembly when President Trump met with President Erdogan. He met with the head of Qatar, other Arab leaders, nation leaders, and so that's where that 20-point plan was first presented. And ultimately, he was given the backing to meet with Bibi Netanyahu at the White House a few days later and essentially put the pressure on the Israelis to accept this agreement. And now Hamas indicating that it will work and cooperate here. This is undoubtedly here for this White House a big move, and one that could potentially, hopefully, open up some humanitarian aid capacity as well for those that have suffered inside of Gaza.
And Peter, really quickly before we have to close here, just zoom out about the events of the last few weeks. We saw that strike in Qatar. We saw Bibi Netanyahu do the remarkable thing of apologizing for it on a global stage. We saw the recognition of a Palestinian state by many global players here. We saw the Arab League take the unprecedented move of condemning Hamas, telling them to get to the table. What does this mean? After you've been watching the region for so long, break this down for us. Explain the impact.
Well, look, I think it's the first time we've seen President Trump really try to impose a settlement on this war that's been going on for now nearly 2 years since the Hamas terrorist attack on Israel. And it really shows that the American president has the ability to be a major player. In fact, is the really indispensable player historically, has always been, this position has always been in the Middle East, whether it be this president or other presidents. So he, for the first time in his second term, has really come to the table and said, okay, here's a solution as I see it. He got the Israelis to agree to it. It looks like Hamas is at least making a step toward agreeing toward it. Again, those details may matter, but it's the most promising moment we've seen since President Trump took office again in January when it comes to ending this war in Gaza.
Hopefully, this is the beginning of the end of a very dark chapter. Thank you so much, Peter Baker. Thank you, Vaughn Hilliard.
Well, I was really impressed to have seen that happen because I wasn't expecting that to happen. Were you? If you're still there, but that is pretty much what I was wanting to talk about tonight, along with what Bruce had brought up earlier, which I thought was really important, the video that we shared. And I just want everybody to know that I feel that this administration is trying to fulfill what they said they were going to do when they took office. It's 9 months in. And I'm still not giving up. I'm not going to get blackpilled. I believe that he's doing the best that he can with what he has. And we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And I really am excited about thinking about what we're going to end up getting by the end of the year. So what movie are we watching on Sunday? I don't remember the name of it. Bruce?
Yeah, I think it's Meet Joe Black.
Oh, Meet Joe Black.
I was on mute the whole time. My bad.
Oh, it's all right. I was like, well, must be busy. But Meet Joe Black. Okay. And it is, who stars in it?
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt. It's a Brad Pitt movie. Okay. So hope you guys will stop in and see us on Sunday. And if you want to watch the movie with us, send us a message and let us know. And we'll see what we can do to get you in there. But hopefully it'll be fun. But tomorrow we'll be playing a game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
the 200 game. You guys are just now getting towards the vault of Warren Care.
Yeah.
And that'll be interesting, to say the least.
Yeah. We've been traveling for a while to get there. But I want everybody to have a wonderful weekend. And if you want to stop in tomorrow on either Bruce or my channel while we're playing our all-day game, go ahead and stop in and say hello. We'd appreciate it.
What's going on, Shadow? He says he has a question for us.
Who?
Shadow
Shadow?
asks, what
Oh,
is the best Halloween movie? The movie that sums up the spirit of Halloween the best.
let's see.
Ooh.
Oh,
Trick
I
or
don't
Treat's
know.
not bad.
I would think Friday the 13th, the first one.
No. I can't back that.
Hmm.
Uh,
I think it's a good one to watch for Halloween.
I think the original Nosferatu would be a great Halloween spirit movie. The 1927 Nosferatu film. There's another good Halloween film.
A good movie, another movie, I would say the Addams Family that we just did a couple weeks back.
Yeah, a couple months ago.
Yeah, or a couple months ago. That was
Hardwick,
good to watch with kids.
Hardwick says something wicked this way comes. That's not
Oh,
bad.
that's right.
That's
a good one.
That's
I
a really
forgot
good
about it.
Halloween film. Actually, I want to go with 1982's E.T. because that movie is set right about the same time of year, and it has a lot of themes in it that actually kind of pertain towards our own present day. Granted, the technology has changed since then, but there is a very good Halloween scene in E.T., and I think it really kind of helps you get back to that feeling you had when you were a young kid, and you were a little bit more innocent, you were a little bit less jaded, and you had your head opened to possibilities of fantastic events like what happens to Elliot and to Gertie in that movie. Not to mention, the rest of the family that is ever so needed to be in that film. But I think E.T.'s probably it captures a lot of things, but it actually gets into what America used to do during the Halloween season.
Yeah, that's a good one too. I remember watching that as a kid. Great Brown.
Great Pumpkin's good.
And also the original Halloween with Jamie Lee Curtis. That's
See,
a good one.
I tend to stay away from slasher flicks for like Spirit of Halloween movie. Is it a good movie? It's a decent film. I don't know if I like Halloween 1 and 2 though.
And one thing that I always did when I worked in a haunted house, we'd run a haunted house for the Junior Chamber of Commerce to raise money. And in the lobby, because that's where I usually worked, was in the lobby. I dressed in costume and I passed out toothbrushes to kids to brush their teeth after they ate all that candy. But we always played a big screen, and the music video Thriller with Michael Jackson. We play that, and we play other stuff like Monster Mash video and other videos like that are great to have if you're going to have a Halloween party to play in the background where people can see it, but listen to the songs and stuff. There's lots of really good fun. What was it? The Purple People Eater was the song that someone chose to put on the list. We let people pick the songs, and then we tried to dig up videos so that we could have a loop going.
I'm still trying to think about like Spirit of Halloween, and I would actually say the Lon Chaney werewolf movie.
And Frankenstein. I'm trying to remember which one it was. I don't remember, but it was one of the movies that we'd watch as a family. I remember us watching that. That was one of them.
If you're doing a screenplay, Shadow, there's a game called Kids on Bikes, and it's kind of based on the 1980s Spielberg and Chris Columbus, John Hughes movies. But it takes a lot of clues and cues out of Stranger Things. So basically all the players would be playing like teenagers or early tween kids, but you would have a lot to pull from with Kids on Bikes, because that's a really good game just to read for inspiration. The system's not that great. Kids on Bike is definitely a lot. It came out the year after season 1 of Stranger Things. So if you're looking for something to entertain younger people, that's not a bad choice. Kids on Bikes is definitely a recommendation. What
Trying
else?
to think.
Any of the monster films by Universal, like what Hardwick said, the Universal monster films. I prefer the Lon Chaney werewolf movie.
Yeah, John Carpenter.
I don't mind John Carpenter. I
What
really
about
like
Silver
him.
Bullet? Wasn't that a big hit? And it
I
was for
wouldn't say it was
kids?
a big hit. It was
Oh.
definitely a cult film that has a lot more relevance now.
And Christine was another one. I remember.
Christine's a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Christine's a fantastic film.
Fright Night. That was another one I thought was really good.
The first one.
Yeah, Fright Night. The one we did.
Yep, with Amanda Bierce.
Mm-hmm.
Before she became Marcy.
Well, it was good. It was scary.
She was still a lesbian.
I love Roddy McDowell. So,
I would also say look at Gremlins 2. Gremlins 2 has some elements in it that are really close to what you're looking for. And Gremlins 2, the reason why I say it is that inside the super skyscraper that's very smart AI, there's a studio dedicated to the creature features of that universe, and the old man that runs the creature features is just a joy to watch as he's kind of defending himself against the gremlin invasion. I think Gremlins 2 is really far too slept over in modern parlance. More people need to watch and see that movie and remember how good it actually was.
What about Casper? That was fun, wasn't it?
I never saw it.
Or The Frighteners with
Frighteners is good.
Yeah, I can't remember what was his name that starred in
Directed
that.
by Peter Jackson.
I can't remember who starred in it.
It's got to have trick-or-treating pranks and kids learning that the world's a whole lot darker than they know. Wouldn't be adverse to saying the first season of Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm.
The first season of Stranger Things has a lot of discovery for young adults and teenagers.
And what's the other one? There was another one that was it. It was a good one.
It was okay.
The original.
The 1980s It.
Yeah. The original.
Lost Boys.
Yeah, Lost Boys. That's another one. So it wasn't too gruesome, but it was really scary. The Changeling. My mother loved that one with George C. Scott. It's like jump scares and stuff. It had a really good. Huh?
What about Tommy Knockers?
I'm trying to remember.
Okay, there's this girl discovers that she's got a piece of metal on her property, so she starts to dig around it.
Mm-hmm.
And she notices that there's a crashed UFO there. And her best friend in the world, who's been in service, he's got a metal plate in his head. He can pick up radio signals, and when he starts helping her out, his head starts going wild and woolly with stuff. And they finally unearth the entrance into the UFO. Okay, he says no aliens, but he kind of beats up on his friend because she's thinking that these aliens had the secrets to everything. And when they get inside, the aliens basically killed each other in a fist fight. And that's what caused the UFO to crash. And he's like, man, they were no better than us. They're just pieces of shit that had UFOs. It was kind of neat in that aspect.
Better technology than we did.
Yeah, super much better than what we had. Another film about kids discovering that the world kind of sucks. The Gate.
Creep Show.
Creep Show's no, not Creep Show.
Why
Creep
not?
Show's
What's wrong with it?
That's an anthology series. It's not.
No,
really
the
an anthology.
movie Creep Show with Drew Barrymore was in one of the 3. There was 3 different episodes in it.
I think there's
Remember
4,
that one?
actually. She's
You
in
don't
one.
remember?
If you're looking for like a young kid discovering who she might be, the original Firestarter with Heather Locklear, David Keith, and Drew Barrymore is not a bad movie. I haven't seen the new Firestarter film, but I would say that would be
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
the first one. I would definitely go into because I've been hemming and hawing over that for a little while. The Cat's Eye.
Yeah,
is-
Cat's Eye. That's the one I was thinking of.
That was pretty okay.
But I meant that's what I meant. That one.
Trilogy of Terror is interesting. Never saw Black Sabbath with Boris Karloff. I'm sorry. I need to spend more time on the Creature Features channel
Yeah,
because
I can't
that
wait to get to do a High Tension because that's really scary, but I don't recommend it for kids. It's a
I would
European.
go back to the Gate. Tales from the Crypt movie isn't bad. I would stay away from Bordello of Blood. But check out, if you haven't seen Cat's Eye, that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Is it for kids to watch?
Cat's Eye, I watched that when I was like 9.
Is that what he's asking?
What's the age range, Shadow? Your intended audience. I think this is kind of cool that Shadow's wanting to do a screenplay and aim it towards kids.
Yeah.
Kind of. Firestarter's pretty good because the young girl discovers that the U.S. government's not the, good thing that she thought it was, because they send out George C. Scott as a hitman to assassinate her, and as he's dealing with her, he doesn't fall in love with her, but he does have like a father-daughter bond with her for a brief time while he's trying to get her weak and vulnerable to him so he can take her out. She's not a telepath like her mother was or like her father was. She's a pyrokinetic. And that end of the movie is actually pretty decent for 80s Stephen King. The car.
Yeah. What's that one? Hellboy.
Hellboy's okay.
The first one.
I like the second one. The second one had some problems with it, but it wasn't a bad movie.
Hocus Pocus. That was a fun movie that kids could watch about witches and stuff and Halloween.
The Gate 1 and the Gate 2 are a 1-2 combo that for like baby's first horror movie. Those
Ghostbusters and Beetlejuice. That's another one. Those are good ones for
Indiana.
To
That was
what?
the old Erie, Indiana was an old NBC TV show.
Oh, I don't remember that. What's A Nightmare Before Christmas? That's a good one. It's all about Halloween. I don't know if you've seen that or not. Did you see it?
Never have.
Oh, we need to put that on the list for me. What about the one we just did with the Witches of Eastwick?
It's not bad.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
It's
It was
good.
fun.
That'd be good for like young adults.
Yeah, teenagers. I think it was called Hocus Pocus. That was another one, wasn't it?
Yep, Hocus Pocus was pretty good.
Mm-hmm. I'm
Erie,
trying
Indiana is interesting. They have like the Bigfoot. They meet up with like Elvis Presley.
Mm-hmm.
For as serious as it was, it had a lot of good jokes in it. The The other place I would look.
What was the one, The Green Mile? Do you think that's a scary movie or not?
No,
Okay.
I don't. I almost can't even recommend that movie. There's a lot of good in that film, but there's also a lot of bad. And I
Silence of the Lambs. That's another one that was kind of creepy.
point that one towards the older teenagers or young 20-somethings. Bubba Hotep is a fantastic movie with Bruce Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of Scared Stupid. That's a fun movie. We really lost Jim Varney too early. I'm sorry. The guy he was the first viral marketing I've ever seen. Because one day you don't know about, you know what I mean, Neural? And then next thing you know, you have Jim Varney, you're watching
I
it on.
forgot about the Ernest movie. I'm sorry, but that's funny.
Yeah. And he used to dress up like the old lady and just sit there and stare at the camera. I can't believe it. This is all going on right now. God,
Well,
I miss him.
Well, there was another movie that I loved, and I watched it with my kids. We still watch it, and we have all the goodies, and we throw them and do all the stuff. And we go to the midnight movies to watch it. The Rocky Horror Picture Show. That's a really fun movie.
I don't know if I'd take kids to it though. I don't think I'd take kids to that.
If they're teenagers, then they're old enough to go. Because you don't see anything really in it. You see a nipple.
You don't, but
nipple or whatever. The Shining, that's another one, but that's not really, that's real psychological, not really a horror. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Scary.
He's like, I've seen Rocky Horror 250 fucking times.
I've seen it lots of times. I love Rocky Horror Picture Show. Because I'm Janet. Everybody, I always wanted to dress like Magenta, but everybody's like, you got to dress like Janet in a slip. I'm like, boring. Oh, Brad. So stupid, but fun.
I mean, Barry Bostwick is like one of the greatest actors of our time, but nobody wants to admit
good in that movie. Superman, when he takes off his glasses.
Never seen him in a bad role. Even in that movie we saw, FDR, American Badass. That's a great film.
Yeah, Psycho. That's another one. Oh, and Scream. Scream was pretty good, the first one.
What about either if you've got old enough kids, old enough audience, Last House on the Left.
Mm-hmm.
Last House on the Left. The original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Underworld. I loved Underworld. I loved all of them.
I shouldn't. That movie is not that great, but it is such a fun movie.
It is fun. Oh, and Van Helsing. I love Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman.
You are really a big Van Helsing fan. I will say that much.
It was a fun movie. I love the monk, the friend.
Yeah.
He was great. I loved him in 300 too.
I just wish that the little acrobat girl didn't keep losing hit points throughout the entire movie.
Well, I thought it was
My idea is a perfect Norman Rockwell Halloween image.
Trying to think. Golly, there's so many of them. I'm trying to think of kids stuff though. What was that one? I already said Silver Bullet, so that one's done. Because there's The Howling and Wolfen or whatever.
Actually, American Werewolf in London, I think, is.
Yeah, American Werewolf in London was really scary. The transformation where his hair's growing and stuff, the way that they were able to do that. Oh, so good.
What about Shaun of the Dead from 2004?
Yeah, that's another one. A zombie movie. What was all the ones with the guy that goes groovy with his arm got cut off?
The
And it
Evil
was
Dead films.
Yeah, Evil Dead. That's another one. I'm sorry. I'm real bad with remembering names, but
I wouldn't recommend 1976's Carrie, but you could. And don't forget Practical Magic from 1998
yeah.
with Kidman and Bullock.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that new one that came out with this that was last year with Demi Moore.
Oh, The Substance.
Yeah, that was really scary.
That movie, Shadow, in 10 years, in 20 years, The Substance is going to be looked at like a spiritual successor to The Thing. But actually, that's a lot more like The Fly.
The Fly, that's one.
The Fly Part 2 is actually not a bad movie for younger kids to watch. It's not as gruesome as the first one.
That was pretty gruesome.
More of a love story between the teenager Eric Stoltz and his girlfriend. It's not a bad movie.
What about the ones where you can't go to sleep?
The the Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street. There you go. There's some more. Man, I forgot how many movies there were.
It's not Americana, but have you seen Midsummer with Florence Pugh? Yeah, Hardwick says The Substance is definitely not in the kids.
Yeah.
Do
If
not
it's
watch with
teenagers,
kids.
that's what he said. He didn't know whether it was going to be really little kids or if it was going to be teenagers.
Yeah.
Teenagers would love The Substance.
Um,
Oh, there was another movie. It was about people eating yogurt and
the stuff.
the stuff. Yeah, because it was like from an asteroid or something that crashed into Earth, and they were eating it.
It would devour them from the inside.
Yeah, it would eat them from the inside out, like the Blob, basically.
What about Jennifer's Body?
Yeah, that's another one.
Not exactly my favorite movie. It
was
got
okay.
chicken pox in it.
Mm-hmm. It was okay.
Men.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
And what's that one that Tom Jones was in with the Mars Attacks?
Mars Attacks is good, but he
And the
wasn't
one with the
alien.
glasses, when you put the glasses on and off.
What about The Craft from 1996?
Yeah, The Craft. That's another one. But the one with the glasses where you can see the
13 Ghosts?
No, yeah, 13 Ghosts. We got to put that on the list.
Okay. And the last movie I'll recommend in this question is the Scream from 1996. Because you got Nev Campbell, Drew Barrymore, Courtney Cox, Rose McGowan, David Arquette.
I'm starting to yawn.
Uh-oh. Look out, kids. Janet's going to metastasize into a pumpkin here.
Yeah, I'll put on my glasses and I'm ready to get studious.
Yeah, the Craft would be one of my top picks for that.
Mm-hmm. They live.
They live. We're going back into Aliens, but if we don't mind that, that's okay.
That's government basically too.
Good anti. Good. If your target audience is Alec Jones's kid, that'd be great. The OG 13 Ghosts is my favorite. There,
Final Destination. That's a good one.
Oh, definitely wish you luck on this, Shadow. I hope it's great for you.
Yeah, me too. I'll have to read it.
Something Wicked This Way Comes. When was that put out? The 60s? Early 70s?
Now, the original book, wasn't it a horror?
I think it
Charlie
was.
Factory or something?
It was a Ray Bradbury book. Something Wicked This Way Comes.
No, I'm talking about
the
Charlie and the
Green Town.
Chocolate Factory. Wasn't it like a horror movie?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. What about the color from Out of Space with Nicolas Cage?
The what?
Nicolas Cage, The Color Out of Space.
I don't know that one.
It's a good movie. It's not one of the better new Nick Cage films like
I was
Willy's
talking about
Wonderland,
that.
but the best Nick Cage movie I've seen in years is probably Mandy.
I haven't seen that one either.
Mandy is just ire and rage on film.
But no, I haven't seen it. But I hate to say it, but man, I gotta go to bed, people. I'm really beat.
Okay, we've beat up Janet.
We made it. We made it over 3 hours.
Is that your goal?
No, I just was surprised. But I just want to say thank you to everybody who joined us tonight. It was very informative, especially the first video that we got to watch. I can't wait to find out more information about that. You know.
Good night, Shadow.
So yeah, thank you everyone, and I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. And if you get a chance, stop by and see us either Saturday or Sunday, and say hi at least.
Wish the party luck tomorrow.
Yeah. But thank you guys. See you later.